X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. The spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. The force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just in arrogance when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You see now, watch me right now, punch your face now. Show you how.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just ate some... Oh, my camera thing isn't on. There we go. I just ate some amazing garlic butter shrimp. Oh my fucking god, dude. My mom's made some shrimp for the pasta that she's making, and I had a few before I went down to stream. Oh my god, it was good. Holy crap. I'm not taking a side in the drama till I hear Zan's response. Smart. Honestly smart. You figured it out. You have indeed caught on. Welcome, welcome. How was the Blue Angel show, Zan? Dude, they were doing it earlier today. I think they've stopped because I haven't heard a jet go over my house in like an hour or two. So I'm glad that they've stopped before my stream time because I was expecting I would have to like go, oh, jet's going over my house, like every time it happens. But thankfully they finished that up. I saw your debate with Shark. Yeah, that was a fun combo. Dude, Shark is so cool, and I was like half expecting him, not even half, but like quarter expecting him to try to bring up the drama that's happening right now and get an own off, even though it's completely out of character for him, and he totally didn't. He just kept it to a cordial conversation and was super chill and nice. God, Shark continues to hold innumerable levels of respect from me, and I feel like most of the online left. I feel like it's just really hard to dislike Shark unless you're actually like a deranged psychopath. You know, like you have to be pretty goddamn deranged. Was the chat okay on Shark's side? I don't really look at any chats from streamers that I talk to, even like in a cordial manner, because the chats aren't always reflective of the conversation I'm having with the YouTuber, right? So sometimes their chats will be like a little rough. So you just don't want to even look at that, because that's just gonna sour your discussion. Vosh rated beforehand, so there were some cringe lords. That makes sense. Welcome, welcome, everybody. God damn. Everybody just shows up instantly today. Welcome, guys. Jesse Gender got ruined from retweeting that slur against him. I don't remember what that's referencing. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I saw that there's been a little bit of drama. I will definitely be putting out a more concise and official response, but if you haven't already, you should look in my Discord, because I would say the most extreme of allegations against me have been proven lies already, with screenshots posted there. But as far as posting a whole encompassing thing, I'd kind of prefer for the people lying about me to just keep digging their own grave. Keep on saying shit that I can prove wrong, and just kind of give them time to hang themselves. Can you do an exposing video on Nick? I don't know who that is. Is that a YouTuber or a streamer? Let's not try and talk about the drama for the stream. Don't want to stoke more flames. I don't really think there's much flames to stoke, honestly. West Side Tyler found some interesting stuff. That's where I'll leave it. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. I skimmed through it, and I saw that West Side Tyler found some posts from Demon Mama's partner about some stuff. I'm not... Listen, guys. I'm not even gonna talk about it because, frankly, I had no idea, and I can't claim to, like... Ah, yes, you see, the reason why Demon Mama doesn't like me is because, you know, I can't do that, so all I could say is I didn't fucking know, but, you know, I guess that's convenient for me. What's ended up coming out in the last few days with the Demon Mama's sphere. Tyler is cool, but he gets mad too easily. Listen, I'm sorry. Do I seem like somebody who is in any position to judge someone on how easily they get mad? That's my question for you guys. Can I really have a negative opinion on Westside Tyler for that? Am I really... Can I really blame him? Me specifically? I don't think so. I think I kind of lost my my grounds to criticize that. Yeah, Zan, we can see her forehead vein. Dude, I just took a hot-ass shower, and I think I have slightly heightened blood pressure. At least last time I went to the doctor, they said I did. And I take hot fucking showers. So I'm pretty sure that one of these days, I might give myself a stroke or heart attack taking a hot shower. Because, like, this vein here bulges out of my head when I get out of the hot-ass shower and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of scary. Is that supposed to be doing that? Tyler's funny. Yeah, I saw some of his stream when I skimmed through it. It was pretty damn entertaining. True, the forehead vein reveals your power level, whether you like it or not. True. You just see my heightened blood pressure. Perry Icefire, thank you so much for the tier 2 sub. I really appreciate that. Let me know how many months that is, because I don't want to undercredit you. I'll assume it's a 10 buckarino for now. Thank you. Said, I have a villain council of plushies that I consult with every night before 3 a.m. It has Kirby, Monokuma, Bahamut, and a pink elephant to moderate. Catnap coming. Nice, Perry Icefire. That sounds fun. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate it. Honestly, I'm surprised more people don't know about what Destiny was gonna do to the DDoS kid. People got so mad at me about the Fed posting DMs. And it's like, I mean, sometimes I Fed post with friends in private about people we both hate, at least at the time. especially when it's like reciprocated, which it was. But I'm surprised more people aren't recalling what Destiny was gonna do to the kid that was DDoSing him back in the day, because that was legit. That wasn't jokes and like Fed posting to like blow off steam. That was legit, bro. That's all I'll say. Whew. Haven't caught a stream in a while? Welcome. Stream lag? No, I think that's just your internet. I haven't lost any frames, I'm happy to say. Who's worse, Geeks and Gamers or Ben Shapiro? I would probably go as far as to say Ben Shapiro because Geeks and Gamers is kind of a fucking idiot and he's falling off really hard, and he has nowhere near as much reach or ability to cause harm to the like landscape as Ben Shapiro can, right? Like, Ben is slowly cucking himself to Nazis, right? Dude, Scapeago, I lost so many more subs from the Keffels drama. I feel like there's been this segment of my sub base that have been like non-viewer subs that don't watch my videos or my streams, because you'll notice that when the Keffels drama happened and when this drama happened, it like didn't affect my viewership outside of like my upload rate, because I stopped streaming for a few days just to chill. So what's weird to me is how it never really affects anything other than my sub count, and it always bounces back, right? So I'm not really too worried about anything. It's just a rehash. A lot of it is a rehash of the the Keffels drama, to be fair, yeah. And I feel that you kind of have to implicitly have already sided with Keffels to really be all that mad at me with this one, so yeah. I'd say the most serious accusation is the claim that I didn't pay Cherry, which is just an outright lie, and regardless of how many DMs Cherry can delete and nuke through with that like one add-on in Discord, you can't delete transactions that exist through payment processing programs. That's why Ethan posted and showed the payments between me and Cherry even after Cherry stopped working with me, including the $100 I sent Cherry as a birthday present. Like, literally, like, a few months ago, my last transaction with Cherry was me sending Cherry $100 as a birthday present after we'd stopped working together. We were on perfectly fine terms until Demon Mama freaked out at me. Can't nuke that, though. Can't delete those. Zan, have you ever done poll comp tests? It's, I know it's kind of useless, but to me, it gives me an idea of someone's beliefs. Oh, a political compass test. Yeah, I've done it, like, multiple times. Yeah. Zan, what is with all the Sunny V2 clones I keep seeing on YouTube recommended? Oh, like, Sunny V2 type content is very easy views and clicks and money, and so people are spamming those videos out. They fill the tags with a bunch of relevant stuff, so it makes sense it would pop up in your recommended. Just click don't show me this type of content frequently when you see that stuff in your recommended, and it'll just stop telling you whenever that stuff, it'll stop recommending it, you know, over time. I found Xander Hall when the Keffels drama started. I remember my first stream where I had one screen playing Minecraft and building a makeshift village, while on the other screen I was listening to Zan in the background. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've come to find that, like, this type of drama is sort of the affirmation that I've made it as a content creator, because every YouTuber and streamer is constantly in some drama, valid or invalid, and this is just part of the process. This is part of succeeding, especially after 100k subs. I feel like we're going to be in drama that I don't even start all the time. It's going to be interesting. I'm pretty excited to see what the future is like. Xanderhall, I don't know why, but I'm unmodded in YouTube. Oh, Ethan might have gone through and unmodded you. Not specifically, but he saw that I had, like, a lot of mods on YouTube chat going all the way back to when I streamed Minecraft back in the day, and so he cleared out a bunch of the mods. I saw a cringe video titled The Fall of Xanderhall. I need you guys to know they've been claiming that for years, dude. Years. Like, I remember distinctly reading back in, like, 2020 a message that said, I think Xander's on his way out. Because for, like, a month I'd hit, like, a stint of losing subs because of a drama. And then, like, literally 2 months later, I hit my next career peak. Oh, let me remod you, the Dark Canuck. My bad. Well, not really my bad, but yeah. Standard moderator. I should also mod you, Larry Banks. Yeah, that was Ethan. My bad. We're just clearing out. I just subbed and you fell off? Yeah, I know, right? Constantly new people coming into the stream, and apparently we're plateauing. At some point, you'll be big enough that you'll be able to ignore the vast majority of dramas as long as you don't fuck with kids. Exactly. That is an easy one to avoid, though. You just kind of have to not do that, and you're good. Although, to be fair, there are, like, a pretty problematic amount of content creators that got away with that shit, you know? They got exposed, and then they just come right back a few months later, and they're fine. Like, Dr. Disrespect's doing exactly that right now. Oh, God, my nose is so itchy today. I need to get, like, a nose hair trimmer and take it to my nostril hairs again, I think. They be itching. Oh, speaking of cool stuff... Speaking of neat, cool things, I wanted to show you what was happening yesterday over my neighborhood here in Seattle. You might have seen this if you watched Shark's stream the other day, but here, I'll actually just bring up the straight video off my computer. Fuck it, why not? If you guys don't know, the Blue Angels are in town, which are the Navy fighter jet pilots, and they were flying over my neighborhood in tight formation. Look at this shit. They've been doing this the last 3 days. 4 days, maybe? It goes hard, dude. It goes real hard. I love fighter jets. They're so cool. Top Gun moment? I do not like Top Gun, though. Careful, Zan, don't dox yourself. I mean, that's literally just, like, blocks away from me. There's no way that can dox me. The most they could do is, like, nail me down to, like a miles wide diameter or something. Did you see Elon doing blatant election interference? He's running fake voter registrations? I gotta hear more about that before I can comment, but that's interesting. I've seen something like that fly over my school, lol. Yeah, it might have been the Blue Angels doing a demonstration. Yeah, the U.S. Navy's pretty cool. They do those flight trainings above cities all around the country, and people get to see them. Zan, do not underestimate the efforts of right-wing hackers. I'm just worried. Yeah, I know about, like, using the clouds to triangulate where the flag was and stuff, but that's why I don't tend to upload telltale info that is of my place, right? That's why I walked a few blocks, and then I took the video. Pretty straightforward, really. Apparently Elon is going to fight Maduro clown show. Interesting. What's up, Decade Slav? How you doing? Triangulating clouds? Yeah, Adante Asai. Basically, what 4chaners did when it came to the He Will Not Replace Us Shia LaBeouf flag, they triangulated the chemtrail patterns from the planes and figured out what, like, airlines were flying in that exact pattern, and were able to, like, exactly figure out, also using the stars too, precisely where the He Will Not Divide Us, it was He Will Not Divide Us, not He Will Not Replace Us. It was the Shia LaBeouf Trump thing. It's been a while since this was relevant, so I've forgotten most of the details, but yeah, people, like, GeoGuessr wizards can definitely dox you if you give away, like, the color of the soil where you live. You gotta think about it like it's 2B2T, so that's why I went a few chunks over. Keffels says she's becoming a comfort streamer. I thought Keffels is quitting the internet. I saw those jet planes when I was at the Space Needle 2 days ago with my family, plus right now I'm visiting my family. Yeah, One Piece, I saw you say that in the Discord chat, that you were at the Space Needle watching the Blue Angel show. That had to be awesome. What an amazing place to watch it from. Because from my perspective, I could only see them when they flew directly over. For you, you were probably able to see them do, like, loop-de-loos and, like, just everything. Keffel's quit YouTube, but she's becoming a comfort streamer until 2025, then she's leaving forever. What? Is it just gonna be she's leaving the internet, but not really? I don't know what she's going to do. She's basically, like, actually fallen off, though. So, yeah. Guys, isn't it crazy how everybody who starts drama with me every single time ends up being an awful person? I wonder how this drama we're currently in will go. I wonder if this will finally be the one that's different. Who knows? You guys will just have to wait around and see. Zan, did you see the return of Chugga? Yeah. I watch the Blue Angels in Pensacola when they do shows there, lol. Yeah, dude, I used to see them in Florida when I was a kid, for sure. It's really cool seeing them, like, in Seattle on the opposite side of the country from where I grew up. It's really cool. I wonder how many lefties are still privately friends with her. I don't know. Who cares? All right, guys. I'm curious. What are you guys drinking today? Because I just finished up the last few drops in my water bottle, and I need to go upstairs and grab another. And I might as well also grab myself a Monster Energy. Did you finish, did Zan finish his New Vegas run? No, we're not done with it, actually. I'll probably be resuming sometime in the next week. We'll probably be getting back on the horse with that. I can't do it today, obviously, because after segments, I'm going to be doing a watch party of Avatar: The Last Airbender in the Progressive Victory Amplify Discord server. So if you guys want to see more of Season 3 of Avatar, which is cooking, dude. Holy shit. Season 3 of Avatar is cooking. I am really excited to see more. So if you guys want to join, then you guys will be able to follow the link through my Discord when I post it in announcements. Alrighty, guys. I will be right back in just a second. I'm going to go run upstairs and grab myself a new water bottle and Monster Energy because I forgot to grab a water before I started stream. But until then, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a second. What's your favorite part of Avatar so far? Honestly, I would say everything to do with Iroh, Zuko, and Azula's dynamic. Everything to do with that, and obviously Ozai as well, to an extent. Everything to do with their dynamic is the best part of the story for me. I feel like that's the part of the story that's, like, really there for older viewers, if that makes sense. Like, there's the main story with Aang and Katara and Zuko is definitely, you know, it's enjoyable, but I feel like Zuko, Iroh, and Azula and Ozai, that whole dynamic is a much more mature story that as an adult, I'm locked the fuck in on it, you know? Like, it's very, very... It ages well even with you. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll be right back. I am loving Avatar. I'm excited for us to watch more tonight. I'll be right back. I'm going to run upstairs and grab a water bottle and a Monster Energy. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a sec. Well, well, well. Did I not tell you I would be back lickety-split with my water and Monster? Hello. Delish. Alright, everyone. I've got some good topics for us today. It's been a few days since my last stream, so a lot of stuff has happened, and we've got a lot of stories that have kind of piled up that we've got to cover and catch up on, so it's going to be pretty raw. I'm pretty excited. Hydration. It's so good. You gotta hydrate before you dihydrate, my friends. Alrighty. Oh yeah, before we start our first segment, though, what are you all drinking today? Go ahead and type in chat. I would normally say water, but I suppose we're gonna say Monster for me. Good old classic black and green Monster Energy, baby. Also, yesterday I went to see the Poyala. I still don't know how to pronounce it in a way that isn't, frankly, embarrassing and offensive. Tribes powwow meetup, which turn out half my family are part of the tribe in Tacoma/Seattle. Nice. Yeah, one of the neat things about being American is moving across the country and, like, instantly having to learn the, like, local indigenous tribe names that we, like, long ago fucked over and then forced into, like, kind of a sour deal of, like, land division and government structure. But at least sometimes reservations have some pretty serious autonomy. I know that in California, there was like a big fucking deal if you were smoking weed or had weed like on you or in your vehicle, even if it was legally being transported and you passed through reservation land, because some reservations banned marijuana, and you could be like arrested, tried, and jailed based on the law of the reservation, even if the state around you fully allows weed, right? And so that was like a whole thing, like, don't take weed onto res land. You don't know what the rules are there, so make sure you check first. Their land, their rules. You better follow them. Alrighty. Anyone played the Mafia games? That is so fucking weird, local Fallout lover. That, like, you ever have, like, a dream or something about, like, or, like, you think of a song, like, it's stuck in your head, you turn on the radio, and that song is on the radio, and you're like, what the fuck? You just did that. Literally yesterday, because my mom's visiting for my birthday. She's still here. And she's going to be getting a procedure in, like, I think less than 2 weeks now, and I'm going to have to take care of her for a little bit, so she's going to be staying here for a little while. But I decided to show her the trailer for Mafia 3, like, yesterday, because it's a banger trailer, the one where main character's driving the dude who's tied up to the, like, swamp in the back of his car. I showed my mom that trailer, like, the other day, and she thought that was pretty neat. She liked the Fallout show so much, she was like, are there any other video game properties that have cool stories I might like? And I was like, oh, I've got something for you. If you want to be a stoner, move to the Bay Area. Dude, I miss weed. I really missed it. I showed my mom The Boys. She loves it. Oh, hell yeah. My mom's only seen, like, the first 2 seasons of the show. I need to get her to lock in on it. It's a good show. Zan, what is your opinion on the UTTP bots on YouTube? UTTP bots? What is that? UTTP bot. YouTube. What is UTTP? Is a group of kids on YouTube that say they attack trolls, but they're trolls themselves. Most of them are 14 and under. And they're very toxic, any fandom, because they are mad. It has more fans than them. Okay, this is just a nothing group. Okay. It just sounds like it's a group of 14-year-olds that are, like, making bots and spamming YouTube with them by the sounds of it. Zan, Balth wants to show you something. Yo, Balth! Zan, I'm here to tell you our Lord and Savior, Trapang 2.
Peggy,
Trapang
18.
2. What is this?
106. You made it. We're here to back you up if things get heated.
Bird? Okay. Here greatest FPS of the decade.
I'll be right by your side.
Interesting.
You can count on me. I won't leave you behind. If you're feeling low.
Okay, it's kind of Dead Space. I'm kind of getting the Dead Space vibes, low-key.
I'll be right by your side. Know that it's so sweet.
Okay. A horror first-person shooter. Like Fear, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It reminds me of Fear. Okay. I like the kick mechanic. It reminds me a little bit of, God, I guess I would say Wolfenstein is the most similar. The most similar vibe I'm getting here is Wolfenstein. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Combat is so freaking fast. I like that. That seems pretty hype. Very Fear-inspired. Okay. Yeah, Pacific Northwest weed is pretty good. Pretty baller. I'd say it's probably better than California's, but it's been a while, so I can't really say. Alrighty. My lovely viewers. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no, this is the right scroll. God damn. I need to buy a new scroll. We're filling this thing up fast, guys. There's still a fair amount of paper to use, but I gotta order a new one because we're running out of space. I'm gonna have to start using the back of these things. I've never had Colorado weed before. No, I haven't. Weed was not legal for me to have when I went to Colorado last. I was like 15, 14 maybe, last time I was in Colorado, and I think weed might have been legal then. It might have been, but I was certainly not old enough to legally buy and then consume it, right? So, yeah. My first time ever consuming marijuana was fully legal, and has continued to be, though I don't really use it anymore. The first time I ever had it was on my 21st birthday in California. Meaning I had, that day, turned old enough to smoke and buy weed, and I was in a state where it was legal, and that was my first time having it. And I think it was my first night in my first ever apartment with Lonnie, and she had ordered some from like a weed delivery app, because they deliver weed in California, and put it in a pipe. I took a few hits, and greened the fuck out. God damn, I threw up, man. I vomited all over my phone. And I was in a call with Ethan at the time, video chatting, so he got like he was looking up, because the phone was on the ground, up at my face as I was like giggling from the weed, and then all of a sudden I just projectile vomited onto the phone. And like Ethan got this like downward, like just worst possible case scenario angle. Yeah, we did the debate with Shark already, Larry Banks. Or, yeah, no, that was Larry Banks who asked. Oh yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't endorse Trump and the right's having a breakdown. I feel like Kyle Rittenhouse is probably far less right-wing than people assumed. Especially with more hindsight. I feel like a lot of his associations with the far right come from the fact that after what he did, who else could he really hang out with or be accepted by, realistically? And so he ends up kind of throwing in with way worse people than perhaps even him. And, yeah, he might not even be, like, far right enough to like, sycophantically support Trump. If Kyle Rittenhouse is a grifter, he's bad at it. The Trump train is still going strong. If he was a grifter, he would be smart and he'd back Trump hard right now. This could be the last chance, like, you really have to back Trump super hard. If he loses, I don't know if he can run another time. Like, realistically, I don't know how long his health is going to last him. I genuinely think Trump is so old and so unhealthy that he's on the edge of, I think Trump is closer to his last days than Biden. Like, natural lifespan-wise. just Biden is way healthier than Trump. Like, have you seen what Biden does when he's not being the president? He goes on jogs and bike rides with his wife, like in full like exercise clothes, you know? The dude is active and fit. And then you've got the picture of Trump like sitting with like the massive table of burgers and fries, dude. And it's like, dude, who's gonna die first? Who do you think? Who? They are like 4 years apart from each other. Who do you think has longer? I think Trump. I think Biden outlives Trump. Natural age. That's what I think is gonna happen. Did you see him destroy a Fox reporter asking about Russia hostages? Biden? No, I didn't see that at all. Oh, you did remind me of something I want to add to my list, though. Pete Buttigieg went on Fox News recently and cooked. He cooked. And I want to watch that. Pete. Fox News. I think Pete is a pretty likely candidate for Kamala's VP. By the way, I had a Shark confirm it is in fact Kamala. Kamala. Not Kamala. It's Kamala. It's Kamala. Not Kamala. So I have to like correct that because the news even gets it wrong and ingrades that mistake. But yeah, Pete might end up being Kamala's VP. And I like Pete a fair amount. I think he's pretty solid. So I think we should give him some attention. He could, or just call her Harris. Yeah, we could just call her Harris. Yeah, someone did point out that, someone pointed out that everyone calls male presidential candidates like Biden or Trump or Obama. And everyone calls female presidential candidates, like Hillary or Kamala. But on the other hand, when, like, the first names of Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris are a lot more notable than their last names, while in the case of Obama, Trump, and Biden, their last names are all way more notable and memorable than Joe, Don, and I mean, Barack is fairly memorable, I suppose. That's why people tended to say Barack Obama, because it rolled off well, but yeah, Clinton was an already existing president, so you get a little more of that sort of Bush era, like that Bush style sort of like, wait, which Bush are we talking about? Which Clinton are we talking about? Type of thing. Yeah. Jared said she does not want to be addressed by just Harris. That makes sense. Yeah. So she doesn't want to just be addressed as Harris. Okay. That's interesting. Kamala advertises herself as that, and Hillary would be a second usage. Okay. Yeah, I know that people, like Hillary Clinton supporters during the primaries in 2008 called her Hill Dog. That was like the meme back then, so it doesn't surprise me if she also preferred to be called Hillary over Miss or VP or President-elect or not elect, like presidential candidate Clinton, you know? I guess it would be First Lady Clinton at the time, right? That would have probably been the most, I guess, notable title. They would put that at the top of the list, and she'd be referred to as First Lady Clinton, even back when she was running in 2008. I was a little kid back then. I think her fans... I don't know what her fans called themselves, but Hill Pups does sound funny. We should look into this Biden guy for VP. Pretty solid background. God. Dude, that would be the dream, man. Just straight up, like, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Only Kamala is now the president and Biden's now the VP. That would be funny as fuck. Yeah, using her first name is also more personal, I think. And I think she can really benefit from that personal vibe, you know? She comes off as very chill. And I think that's important. She's got that going for her, and it's a very good benefit she needs to, like, really lean into. So it makes sense. Yo, Unpaid Intern, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. The unpaid intern pays me. Haha. Didn't say anything, but I appreciate it. Thank you for the $5 reduce. Let me update my dono goal really fast. I've been forgetting. My bad. That's just me being slow. Yeah, Trump is terrified to debate Kamala. Like, she would absolutely gape him. Like, he would be gaping wide on stage in front of the nation after she was done with him. It would be brutal. Like, parents would be covering their kids' eyes. It would not be a pretty sight, but it would be quite hilarious. That is a good point. Harris seems like a person you could chat with, while Trump, by contrast, does not come across as someone you'd be able to casually talk to. Dude, could you imagine trying to have a beer with Trump? Like, actually, people used to say you could totally sit down and have a beer with Trump. Imagine what that would be like. Could you seriously imagine sitting down and trying to have a normal conversation with Donald fucking Trump, dude? Now try to imagine that with Kamala Harris. That's way fucking easier to imagine, in my opinion. I can imagine her just sitting down, like, I don't know why, but I imagine her drinking, like, tea from a teacup. She just comes off as, like, classy in that way, but then also being personable, you know, like easy to talk to. Yeah, wine and shrimp cocktail with Kamala Harris. I gotta train myself to say her name right. Having drinks with a woman? Nah, bro. Real. What is this? Trump, by the way, I would like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made? What is he saying here? What? Trump, you're supposed to pretend like you don't love Vladimir Putin. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're giving the game away. You're supposed to pretend like you're not getting glazed by this dude.
You know, by the way, I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made? It's terrible, you know.
Okay. Interesting. Who's we, Donald? Actually, Xander Hall, Hillary had an 85% chance to win on the 19th of October after the third debate, so yes, the polls fucked up. No. Because percent chance to win is a forecast, and forecast takes into account polling. You know, it's a factor it takes into account of, but the forecasts, my understanding of election forecasts are that they are what percentage of the likely outcomes does a certain candidate win. And so in 75% of the likely outcomes, Hillary was supposed to win, but that doesn't mean that Hillary had a 75% chance to win. Is that correct? I might be mistaken on that, but I can tell you the forecast for Hillary, while it did have a very strong effect on people's perception that she could win, supposedly the polling was very close. Which is not the impression I think or many people got back then, but supposedly the polling was very close. The guy who played Luke Skywalker hates Trump. Why would you call him the guy who played Luke Skywalker? It's Mark Hamill, man. Dude. One Piece 34, you know the lead singer of Fountains of Wayne, the band who performed and wrote and sung that song? That lead singer passed away due to COVID like 5 years ago now. Literally one of the biggest reasons why I will always fucking despise Trump and why I hate COVID so much, like beyond even what it did to me. It has killed some pretty talented musicians and artists. Yeah, COVID got the lead singer of Fountains of Wayne. Yeah, Mark Hamill voices Skips in regular show. It's baller. Did you know that, Belle? Did you know that Skips in regular show is Mark Hamill? The big gorilla dude? The albino gorilla character with the jeans that skips around everywhere? Because I was showing Bouth regular show a while ago. We need to resume that shit. Yo, democracy, dignity, and I assume that's going to say humanity. Thank you for the $5 super chat and sticker. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. That science girl is still suffering, poor dear. No, it's physics girl who is suffering due to long COVID. That science girl account on Twitter is who you're mistakenly referring to there. Like that account is cancer. That science girl account on Twitter is genuine cancer. Block that account. You will learn nothing from it. Half of it is just like random viral posts captioned, "What do you think this is?" And it's like, why don't you tell me, science girl account, the account that is supposed to be a science account? I fucking hate that account so much. It so quickly went from being like an educational account that I like learned things from occasionally to just clickbait bullshit. Physics girl on YouTube though is awesome. That's someone else. And yeah, she is suffering from long COVID. That's your internet, Boltsidorov. Thankfully on my end, and it seems like everyone else's, the stream's doing fine. You'll need to find a place with better internet, most likely. I hate those fake science channels so much. It's not a channel, it's an account on Twitter, but yeah. Yeah, I know that's who you were talking about, the Dark Canuck. I just wanted to rant about that Twitter account because I hate it so much. Xander Hall, that account also just has a habit of posting just factually wrong things. Yep. Yeah. I literally just don't trust anything I see on Twitter anymore, which is a big part of why I just don't even use it, you know? Like, why the fuck would I even use Twitter anymore when it's so full of garbage, right? You can't even trust half the stuff you see there. Like, what's the point of this, anymore? It's a broken site. Alrighty. Yeah, now it's truly just shitter. Alright, guys. You ready for the first segment of the day? Oh boy, guys. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Guys, I hope you're all ready to cringe. Because the Daily Wire is putting out another garbage propaganda movie in the same realm as that, like, Lady Ballers movie and What is a Woman? If you guys don't remember, whenever they try to make these movies, they always try to go for a documentary angle first. If they can find a way to trick people into getting themselves on video and framing it in a really negative way, something they like to do, for example, with the What is a Woman documentary, where they would go around and they would find even trans people that were going through the process of transitioning medically and then questioning them about it in very leading ways, baiting negative answers about the process of transitioning or being trans, and then framing it as if that is the experience that trans people are willing to admit when their guard is down. Like, we got through all the propaganda, all the guarding, and now we know trans people aren't truly happy. They're just faking it, or they're just miserable anyway. And they basically take these trans people out of context. They interview... Oh, they are still doing the Jet show. I'm curious if you guys could hear that at all. Could you hear that jet going over my house at all? Nope. I hear thunder. Didn't hear anything. Yes, jet flying, rockets in flight, afternoon tonight. No, couldn't hear it. We heard it. Nah, I can't hear it. It sounds like depending on your like volume levels, you heard it or you didn't. But that was the sound of a FA-18 Yellow Jacket, or 3 maybe, flying over my house. Because the Blue Angels, the U.S. Navy Blue Angels, are doing their flight practice in Seattle right now. And they've been doing it for the last few days, and they are just flying all over the fucking place. Well, the Blue Angels were annoying Vosh too. I feel like through everything, through all this drama, the one thing that connects still me, Vosh, Demon Mama, is the fucking Blue Angels doing goddamn airstrikes or whatever, strafing runs over our houses all across Seattle. Called up my flyboys in the U.S. Navy to handle this drama problem I'm having. Eagle One's gonna take care of this problem for me, don't you guys worry. Play Don't Get Airstrikes by the Blue Angels. Yeah, I don't want to get airstriked by them. Yeah, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Anyway, with that said... Oh, it's a FA-18 Super Hornet, not a Yellow Jacket. My bad. I knew it was like a wasp-related name. My bad. Regardless, getting back on topic, apparently the Daily Wire is putting out a new movie called, and it's going to be a theatrical release too. Apparently this is going to come out in theaters, called Am I Racist? Starring Matt Walsh. This is from the Daily Wire's website, by the way, so we're going to read this in like a very sarcastic voice to, you know, signify that I don't agree with the framing of this, because we are reading the Daily Wire's synopsis and article here about it.
In the first Daily Wire original film, set for a theatrical release, Matt Walsh goes on a journey through anti-racism seminars, woke dinner parties, and even a sit-down interview with Robin DiAngelo to answer the question, am I racist? The trailer for the new Daily Wire film, revealed Tuesday night on Daily Wire Backstage, shows the host of the Matt Walsh Show dive headfirst into liberalism as a bumbling and a zealous convert to the world of DEI. His interrogations on anti-racism come not just with leftists who are eager to be lectured about whiteness, but also regular Americans who respond to questions about the broader structures of racism with a simple, huh? At the end of the trailer...
Oh, wait, no, okay, so we can now watch the trailer now, alright. My throat fucking hurts after that, by the way. I think, like, I legitimately think I'm gonna lose my voice from doing that. So if I don't stream tomorrow, it's because of that voice I just did there alone. Holy shit. That was a big workout on my vocal cords. God damn, is that what voice training is supposed to feel like? Jesus. Oh my god. Okay, let's watch this trailer.
Let's be clear what's happening. What's happening.
YouTube, please. Can you make things be stationary for half a second so when I click, I don't end up clicking other things, please? Or reduce the amount of buttons that completely end the video and move on when you load a page. God, YouTube sucks now. All right. Am I racist? Official trailer. The answer is yes, by the way. The answer is yes.
Let's be clear what's happening in this country. It's Nazism. Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up in the 90s, I never thought much about race. Sure, you noticed, but never really seemed to matter that much.
Okay. All right. So we're immediately getting to like, all right, interesting. So what it seems like they're going to try to do is frame this as the most normie-friendly movie possible. Something that a lot of, like, white people feel nowadays is that everyone is obsessed with race because they talk about racism and the injustices that come from it. And for people who are, actual white supremacists and those that actively want to maintain racist systems, for them, they see this as a threat. They see progressive movements and our society getting more progressive and knowledgeable and aware of these injustices as a threat, because ignorance is conservatism's best tool. Ignorance is how conservatives are made. And with... I don't know if you guys could hear it at all, but there goes another one. Anyway, like, ignorance is how you create conservatives. It is the muck, the, like, goo pit that the Uruk-hai that our conservatives come from deep beneath the belly of Isengard, right? Ignorance breeds conservatism. And a narrative that you'll notice a lot of these, like, either centrist or pseudo-conservative or full-on right-wing, like, Nazi-type people will push when it comes to race is the idea that caring a lot about racial justice is equivalent to being obsessed with race as a concept and using race as a guiding tool of how you interact with people. Essentially the same way as being racist is, right? They try to do the whole like, the left are the real racists, being knowledgeable about things that people of other races face and the injustices and whatnot. This is obsessing over race in a way that is actually racist. And so they try to push this idea that our society getting more and more progressive, knowledgeable, less ignorant, is actually a regressive movement. And so this is going to try to appeal to normies who feel like this whole like anti-racist BLM stuff might have just gone too far. And it's right out the gate trying to push the idea that, don't you remember like 20 or 30 years ago when no one cared or talked about race because everyone was just themselves and focusing on themselves and everyone was normal and the woke mob hadn't risen yet? I love hearing different groups of conservatives claim different points in history when the wokeness started. For example, I saw a comment the other day that said that the trans, quote unquote, trans started in 2016. It was LGBTQ started in 2016. How did this person has an account named LGBTQ plus from back in 2012. Someone was genuinely confused as to how someone named their account LGBTQ plus before 2016 when they thought LGBTQ plus was quote unquote invented. There are a lot of young people getting into politics that this is meant to appeal to. The kinds of people who think that like LGBT people were invented in 2016.
At least not to me.
Being a white, straight, cisgender man is the top of the pile.
I'm on the top of the pile. That's me. Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you left.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Can you please leave?
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper on.
Matt Walsh's whole thing is doing the whole like smug wrong and pretending like he doesn't know what he's doing bit, you know? Like, I'm here to antagonize, but wait, why are you guys getting upset? Why do you guys want me to leave? I'm not doing anything. It's like, you're obviously not here to hear out these positions. You're here to just, you're here to harass and intimidate and annoy.
Undercover. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one.
What?
A new comedy. Oh no. So for those that don't know, dude, this guy tried so hard to make the Lady Ballers movie a documentary, but they couldn't find anyone willing to transition just to get ahead in women's sports. And then when they finally could find someone willing to like go that far, they found out that it would be practically impossible to pull off because it would take years and years and years of legitimate like medical transition before they could meet the requirements necessary to actually get a like their like mole into women's sports in any like significant way to try and prove a point. And so they found out that like they couldn't do a documentary about the problem they believe exists that doesn't. So instead they made it a fictional movie. I'm guessing they tried the same thing again here, where they attempted to go in and make this like a documentary, realized they had nothing, and so then tried to make it a comedy bit where he would just dress soy, I guess, and then I don't know, he does the Walsh look and then he goes in to pretend to be woke. He basically just looks the same but with long hair. I don't know what the difference is. Somehow he looks like even more of a pervert. I don't know what else to say.
What is racism?
Martin Luther King said not to judge people by the...
Martin Luther King said a lot of stuff.
Is America inherently racist?
What the hell is that?
The word.
Guys, she disagrees with MLK. Who are the real racists? And then he goes on to make a video about how like MLK wasn't a good dude and he like cheat. Mind you, Matt Walsh, I have heard go on multiple rants about how MLK was a flawed person who like cheated on his wife and stuff. Like Matt Walsh does not like Martin Luther King Jr. and has shit-talked him in numerous segments and is going to do a little bit there where it's like, yes, any criticism of him from the left means that they actually don't believe in egalitarianism and anti-racism.
Word inherent is challenging there. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
The entire system has to burn. And I'm not going to even use save this country. This country is not worth saving. This country is a piece of shit.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
They gonna say...
Wait, is this He just kind of made himself look like a dumbass, but okay. Is he supposed to be pretending to be the waiter at this restaurant, like listening in on some like woke people's meeting to destroy the West or something? Is this just some like mom group or something? Like, what are these? Who are these people supposed to be?
I'm racist. Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification. Where are you guys on your anti-racist journeys? So I'll look around the room and point.
I love how this movie frames it like he's been on TV all over playing this character, akin to, he really wants to look like right-wing Borat. He wants to be right-wing Borat, doesn't he? And he's completely flubbing it. Like, he's nowhere near talented or dedicated enough to pull it off, so he's absolutely failing to, like, embody the Sacha Baron Cohen type of comedy. He can't do it. He's trying so hard, but like not only does he not have the ability or connections to like get out there and do like troll really important people, but he doesn't have the dedication or like talent to play different characters like Sacha Baron Cohen will, that allows him to just fuck with countless different people, right? Like I've seen that guy play completely different looking characters. He'll wear a fat suit and do prosthetic makeup for hours and hours and hours and hours, put on a voice you've never heard him do before and an accent you've never heard him do before, and he becomes a new person. That dude is insanely talented at that.
To who we believe is the most racist person in the room. We want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument. Would you mind signing it? You will? What do you think about this issue of heteronormativity and how it intersects with the broader structures of racism?
He wants
in
normal
society?
beer.
They gonna say I'm racist.
What's up with white people? What are you doing to decenter your...
Notice how there's like not even a single stinging gotcha or anything in this trailer. Like, I really think this movie is going to be such a nothing burger of just him kind of embarrassing himself trying to get gotchas from like, ironically, it's like him pretending to be a woke white guy, talking to mostly black people, and trying to, like, epically own them on how they're wrong about racism. So this movie is literally a white guy goes and tries to prove that black people are wrong about racism existing. like literally, he's trying to frame it like he's just arguing with a bunch of white liberals, but half the people he's arguing with in these videos are black, and he's a white guy. So it's like, you're not... If it was only white liberals that looked like they were riddled with white guilt, his point would be so much stronger. But the fact that he's arguing about racism with black people as a white guy really eliminates the factor that he is trying to push to normies, which is the idea that it's only the crazy far woke left that cares about race like this and cares about racial justice. Because, like, yeah, if it's very clear that, wait, hold on, black people do consider these issues serious, most people aren't going to then, like, walk away thinking that they shouldn't care about those issues. The idea he needs to push to be successful with this movie is the idea that the vast majority of American black people don't care about this whole lefty social justice thing, and that's just a white guilt liberal thing, which it's not, of course. He'd be lying, but if he was an effective propagandist, that is what this movie would be, and he's failing at that.
Whiteness.
Who's making it the center? Why are they doing that?
And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. This is more for you in this field.
White.
Folks,
White.
trash, white supremacy, white woman, white boy,
White.
entitlement,
White.
centering, white silence.
Is there a black person around here?
There's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
They gonna say
Okay.
I'm racist.
I don't know what that scene was.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Is that AI music in the background, by the way? I kept hearing weird, like, audio cues in the music that sounded weird to me, and I just realized, is that AI? Is the music in the background AI? Let me check. Let's check the music credits. Ooh, no music credits in the description for the trailer. Ooh. This movie is gonna have a 0% critic rating and a 90+% audience rating. Amazing. This country is a piece of shit. Takes a sip of champagne over a free feminist dinner with servants. How she gonna say the country is a piece of shit while drinking wine in expensive restaurants? I love that this is probably the wig he used in Lady Ballers, just repurposed, and people still don't recognize him. He even introduces himself as Matt. I love that they post a comment like, wow, he wore the same wig as in Lady Ballers, and people don't recognize him. They must be so dumb. Everyone knows Matt Walsh, and they don't realize that's just an own on Matt Walsh, because fucking no one knows who he is outside of his little bubble. I love how they see that as like some kind of own, that nobody fucking recognizes Matt Walsh and he's a complete nobody. This movie is fucking embarrassing, dude. You think we should like Discord's like watch party it and then do like a video dunk review after it comes out?
Matt, hi Matt.
Nice to meet you.
I just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
Never be too careful.
They gon' say you racist, but they call everybody racist.
Yeah, about as cringe as I expected it to be. I'm surprised at how poorly they seem to be executing the propaganda they're attempting to, though. If they were smart, they would essentially cut every single argument with a black person out of the movie and frame it as only him arguing with white people, and then every single black person that appears in the movie would agree with Matt Walsh. If they wanted to make good, effective far-right propaganda, that's what they should have done. Because the angle they want to take, if they're trying to make a normie bait movie like this, it's going to be in theaters, is the framing of the left are the real racists, and they are going to be owning racists, just a different kind than, you know, you might think of when you hear the word racist. So I think this is going to be really ineffective propaganda overall. It seems like the kind of thing that's only going to appeal to the audience that has already bought in to that idea. Zan, your problem is that they are just too retarded to think of that. That's true. Yeah, they are pretty stupid, but at the same time, they've made effective propaganda over the years, right? Like, you'd think they'd know how to like get normies to believe the left is bad, and a big way that you start with that is by claiming the left are the real regressive, evil racists, right? At the end of the trailer, Walsh is seen as he's about to interview D'Angelo, the infamous author of White Fragility and Nice Racism. D'Angelo asks Walsh for his name and says, "I just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful." "You can never be too careful," Walsh replies with a smirk. Am I Racist is Walsh's second original documentary for the Daily Wire. Wait, it's not a documentary. You tried to do a documentary with Lady Ballers and found out, wait, the problem we're trying to like claim exists doesn't exist so much we can't even fake it, and had to make it a fictional comedy. Following up the 2022 release of hit documentary What is a Woman? Ah yes, a very big hit. Daily Wire co-CEO Jeremy Boring said he hopes the film could put the final nail in the coffin of DEI, and that's why the company decided to release it into theaters across the country. "We want the film to reach every corner of America, not just the Daily Wire's core audience or political conservatives, and I truly believe that with a nationwide theatrical release, this film has the power to be the final nail in the coffin of the DEI and the so-called anti-racism movements," Boring said. What is a Woman changed the national conversation on gender theory, effectively killing the issue. And DEI is the next pillar of the woke mind virus that's about to topple, Boring added. DEI culture is one of the most toxic plagues in American life, and Matt Walsh and Justin Folk have masterfully and hilariously exposed it in this movie. On Daily Wire backstage, Walsh said there was so much he wanted to say about the film, but he didn't want to spoil it. Regarding D'Angelo, Walsh says only that the conversation goes to a pretty wild place. The film will hit theaters on September 13th. How do you think this movie is going to do in theaters? What do you think the copium's going to be for its box office failure? Like, what are the excuses going to be? Are they going to try to claim that, like, Disney faked their ticket sales, or all the ticket sale reporting sites are lying about the numbers or something? Like, I don't know what they're going to try to claim to cope when this ends up being a complete failure. Like, what are they going to say? What is their ridiculous outside of reality excuse going to be? They're going to say it was Hollywood. Theaters are going to cancel screenings. Yeah, how many theaters are actually going to host this movie that is run by a guy who's got a history of, like, hosting Nazi diaper fights? Like, what the fuck? Like, does the world not know about like Matt Walsh's past? Because this dude used to be like a shock jock radio dude who would be out in a field with two like redneck men wearing nothing but diapers. One of them had a swastika tattooed on his back, and he proceeded to commentate a wrestling match between them. Like, this guy, man, Matt Walsh diaper thing is so concerning. Dude, the fact that Matt Walsh has such an ongoing obsession with diapers and babies is really fucking weird. I mean, conservatives in general having an obsession with children and babies is really fucking weird. But Matt Walsh in particular, with like the "I violate my kids' consent all the time" quote he said, that shit is fucking, I don't know, dude. Matt Walsh is a, I feel like one of these days, you know what I mean? Like, one of these days we're going to get news about Matt Walsh that's not going to shock anyone, but it'll still come out of nowhere and people will be like, "Oh, it finally happened." Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like. Every thumbs up, both on the stream and my videos, regardless of where you're watching, really do go a long way. They push my content in the algorithm, and it really helps a ton, so I appreciate it to everyone who does that. You can also comment down below, subscribe, and ring the bell icon as well for a similar effect. And of course, consider following my social medias linked down below, including joining my free fan Discord server, also linked down below in the description, where I also host all my new I host events such as call-in streams, watch parties, and game events, and I announce all my new uploads and streams as well, so you won't miss anything if you join. And if you want to support me financially directly, you can always donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless, thank you for watching, and have a good one. What do you guys think of that segment? I feel like it was solid. Xanderhall, my dad still unironically listens to Ben Shapiro, and my mom listens to Megyn Kelly. There is no hope for the future of conservatism. I mean, I think they're just going to fall apart, to be completely honest. I don't see the right going anywhere particularly good in the future. Anyway, very nice, Fighter Jet. I assume you guys heard it. Democracy, Dignity, Humanity, thank you for the $20 super chat over on YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you. Said, I'm a rural southerner. I know firsthand Republicans don't want to admit that American culture has, I don't know why I'm reading your message in like my Florida voice. Don't want to admit that American culture has embedded views about race. We see this with them trying to erase Kamala's blackness. They care about race more than anyone. Yeah, the fact that they can't stop talking about Kamala and her race, like, is she Indian? Is she black? Well, she just turned black when it was convenient for her. It's like, dog, you really gotta let go of her race. You are just nuking yourselves every time you obsessively post about the color of her skin. You really need to start getting your talking points in order, not talking about her skin color before, like, we really get into the election, because you guys are just fucking yourselves here. I mean, I hope they don't actually, get their shit together. I hope they continue to fuck themselves, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyway, Markunator, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very base. Says, Bad Empanada says some rather unkind things about you in this video. I have no doubt. Bad Empanada's a tanky who's hated me for a long time. If you think I'm unhinged in those messages that Demon Mama leaked, you should see, like, Bad Empanada on Twitter last Tuesday. You know, like, bro literally sends death threats as his go-to way of disagreeing with people. Bro lives in, like, fucking South America or something and had to, like, flee Australia because of some charges from what I heard. I don't know. That might not even be true. It's probably bullshit. I might be thinking of Hitler, but same person, pretty much. Bad Empanada sounds like the name of a food truck. I'm not gonna lie. His name makes me hungry. You know? Like, I could eat him. You know, just full Hannibal. Just eat them. None of you in chat could make a solid argument against cannibalism. It's objectively morally neutral. Imagine, dude. Imagine I try to die on the fucking cannibalism is a morally neutral hill. That'd be some Destiny tier shit right there. Walsh is the only other lefty I still watch, and even he's posting cringe, like, at least half the time. Yeah, I mean, I'd say Shark is generally pretty based. I don't agree with everything that he says, but he's, like, the most normal and, like, just normal person about his disagreements and stuff. And he doesn't get, like... Notably, he doesn't get whiny when someone disagrees with him. And that's really, I don't know, it's just an admirable trait. It's hard to find in this space, you know? Even among friends, people get so fucking whiny when disagreement comes up. Like, about simple stuff, like the Biden-Trump, like, Kamala thing. And Shark does not get, like, whiny or butthurt over just, like, a simple disagreement. And that's huge. Fun fact, the human body is okay to eat if prepared like other food, but the head is unedible. Yeah, I think that human brains can give you like prion disease, and it's not like a virus or something that like is in a human brain and you catch it. Prion is like a protein that just spontaneously forms like in your body and starts killing you. Like, we have no idea where it comes from. And if somebody has a prion, it is in their brain, and it's misfolded proteins. Yeah, it's not even like a living thing. It's just like it's something completely different. Like, prions are a completely different form of not life, closer to viruses than bacteria, and it's really weird. We don't know what causes them. We don't know where they originate from, but we know that they are transmissed via eating brain. So if you eat brain, you could get a prion from an animal, and you can really get a prion from eating human brain, apparently. I don't know exactly how it works, like if you can eat like 1 million human brains, and if they don't have a prion in them, you're fine, or if like you just get that if you do that. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah. It's so powerful that not even radiation can beat prions. Yeah, it's kind of scary. Yeah, prions can just happen randomly and you're fucked. There's no way to survive. There's no treatment. You're just done. Not caused by anything. Not contracted anywhere. Not a genetic thing as far as we know. They just happen. No clue. No clue what causes them. They just happen. The scariest shit you can imagine outside of like SIDS or a sudden stroke. Genuinely terrifying. I hate that. Alrighty. Let me mark off that topic off the list so we can move on to the next one. Woo! Let's go. Prions are misfolded proteins that replicate out of control in the brain. Yeah. Basically, that is what it is, and it's not good, and it's scary. It will kill you. Yeah, it's really gross, too. Misfolded proteins. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, why are proteins misfolding? If my proteins ever start folding incorrectly, I'm gonna fucking lose it, dude. How the fuck did we become apex predators, dog? Like, sometimes we just fucking die as infants. I mean, we have a lot of babies, and we're also really, like, good at survival. Like, in the wild. Like, humans were pretty fucking solid, you know? Like, we're pretty cool. Like, we're long-range runners, and that's, like, the way that we spend stamina and regain it is like nothing else in the animal kingdom. And that means that we can marathon run. Which means the rule of humanity for millions and millions of years has been you don't have to be the fastest, you just need to not be the slowest. And so, that's how humans get by. That's how humans get by. We can run a whole hell of a long time. So if one of us gets caught by like a couple of lions, the whole rest of the group of humans has run like 12 miles by the time the lions have finished up their meal and they're looking for like another snack. You know what I mean? Yeah, we cool ourselves and we can pant as well while running and you know, sweat and You know, we're really good at long-range running. Like, we can really run a marathon. Speaking of marathons, do you know of Davis Clark, the most locked-in man? No, I do not, Balthazar. Who is Davis Clark? In the meantime, let me update the dono goal. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the support. Very kind of you, my little Pog champions. Alrighty. Next topic. Yes. Alrighty, guys. Bro made the conscious decision to crap his pants so he could finish the Boston Marathon in under 3 hours. Yeah, I'm not that dedicated to just about anything. I'm gonna be real. I don't know if I'd be that dedicated to certainly running a marathon. I don't think I'm that dedicated to reaching that time. So I think I'll have to avoid the realm of marathon running, because I don't think I have the constitution to be at the top of the list, if that's what you got to do to get those times. Jesus. Zan, have you ever played Shadow of Mordor / War? Yes. Yes, I have. A lot of hours in both those games, Grain Brain Guy. A whole hell of a lot of hours in both those games, and several full story completions. I donate money if I add any, Zan. No problem. You guys don't need to donate if you can't afford it. You guys can just hang out, hit the like button. You don't even have to... I mean, engaging with the stream in the free ways, like liking or commenting and stuff, really helps a ton. But you don't even have to do that. You know, you can just watch the stream, and that helps a ton too. Thank you. I have 2 swords, and yet those won't protect me from getting killed in my sleep like Darth Plagueis. Why do you have 2 swords? You only need 1. I never liked the idea of dual-wielding swords in, like, any, like, kind of fantasy media or whatever. It just seems like you'd be giving yourself too much ability to fuck up. You have to be so dexterous, I feel. I don't have that kind of dexterity. I'd have to go for, like, two-handing a long sword if I was to, you know, become, like, a medieval knight or something. Xander Hall, imagine running, you feel the turd well up in your stomach, and you consciously decide to just let it go into your pants. I think I'd rather be eaten by a lion. What I'm curious about is, how do you know you're about to run a marathon and, like, eat anything solid for, like, a week before that? Like, if I knew I had to run a marathon like that, I would be trying to cut as much weight as possible, and part of that would be, like, an all-liquid diet. So the worst-case scenario would be I'd have to pee. And that you can do in, like, less than a minute and get right back on the track, you know, as long as there's porta potties, like, set up along the marathon track, right? So I would just not eat any solid food for, like, a week, like I'm going into surgery if I was to do something like that. That's what I used to do for swim meets. Like, I'd legit just, like, cut back on eating solid food because I wanted to be as light as physically possible when I was swimming. Those big meets where lots of people are watching. Want to make good times. Just got home from a Nerf war, and now I'm catching a Zan stream, shaping up to be a pretty good day. A Nerf war? You lucky bastard. You lucky bastard. Valda Shark. Dude, me and my friends used to do Nerf wars when I was a kid. I had some friends that did jiu-jitsu with me, whose parents had a really nice house. I don't know if they could have really afforded... I think there was some, like, credit fuckery going on with how they got that place, because I don't know if... I think they were living, like, above their means, to be clear. But regardless, they had a really nice place in a really nice neighborhood, and they had a lot of toys, and a lot of those toys were Nerf guns. So when I'd go to stay the night at their house, we would wake up in the morning at, like, the crack of dawn, and we would get the Nerf guns. And there were a bunch of other kids in the neighborhood, and we would all have our Nerf guns, and we would just have an all-day neighborhood-wide Nerf war. That is some of the most fun memories from my childhood that I have. Those days were some fun times. So I hope that it was similar to what you were just doing with your Nerf war, Valda Shark. I feel like I should get into Airsoft. I feel like that's kind of the adult version Paintball or airsoft is the adult version of that. Alrighty. We did the Nerf war in a Mormon church this time. Works pretty well. Interesting. Well, I hope it was a good arena for you guys. I hope you had fun. Alrighty. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Alright, everyone. There is a big controversy happening right now in the world of the Olympics. And we're not talking about the Israel stuff. We're actually talking about a completely separate controversy, one that has arisen as an inevitable byproduct of transphobia. Something I've repeated time and time again is that transphobia, especially that produced by TERFs, always, inevitably, leads to misogyny against cis women. So there is always this irony when cisgender TERFs try to claim they can always tell and do their transvestigating stuff, because it almost always ends up hurting cis women more in the end. Because whenever they target a cis woman and claim they're trans, it's sort of like a never-ending, like, why won't you admit it? Why won't you admit it? And so they will just, for, like, years harass a cis woman because said cis woman won't lie and say they're trans. And they won't give up until they've finally gotten an admission, right? This ideology of TERFism is just about as misogynistic as it gets. It is objectively misogyny. And so, naturally, when the Olympics came around, and not a trans boxer, I should say, a cis boxer, ended up winning in a match against another woman, the right basically just decided to formulate a narrative about how she's a trans woman, when she's just not. The only argument, or like evidence, quote unquote, they have for this is apparently slightly elevated testosterone levels, something that is very normal. Like, just that happens among athletes, especially, well, that happens among women all over. Like, cis women across the board have elevated testosterone levels due to a variety of different reasons and conditions. But in the case of athletes, it's expected. Like, yeah, there are some people who are very genetically gifted. They are very strong. They produce more testosterone than other people do, cis women and cis men, and those people tend to have a bit of an advantage. But and I think she was disqualified because of her testosterone levels being so high. Expected of very top-tier athletes, but they do have limits. But now, apparently, her testosterone levels measure pretty normally, like they're within the acceptable range. And now she's back to competing. She won some big fight. People lost their shit, I guess, and now she is forfeiting the match. This apparently the story is now that she is in tears after forfeiting the Olympic match due to gender dispute. This has gotten to the point where they full-on screamed her off of the stage, supposedly in tears, pretty much. Transphobia has legitimately gone so far that cis women are not safe from it anymore. And this is the inevitable outcome of this TERF movement that the left and the trans community has been warning of for years and years and years, that if this shit continues to be normalized, eventually, like, cis women are going to be in danger too from these people. And it's happening. I believe recently there was a story where a cis woman was assaulted in a woman's bathroom by another woman because said woman thought that the other cis woman was trans. It seems the statistics continue to prove that you are far more in danger as a trans person in the bathroom you identify with than anyone else is in the presence of that, in your presence in that bathroom. Trans people seem to be the real ones in danger here. And now the derangement over the possibility that someone could be trans is going to reflect and cause negative outcomes for cis people. This is why transphobia is an everybody problem. Not just because of the natural, empathy you should have for trans people and the bullshit they deal with, but also the fact that bigotry does not have limits. Bigotry is about hate, and hate does not end. There is no reasonability or compromise when it comes to hate. If you allow hate to grow and fester in a society, eventually you will be the target of that hate too. So even if you're just a selfish, uncaring person, you should care about this stuff because nobody is safe. Like this stuff might ruin your life if you're a cis woman and a group of psychos online decide that you look too masculine for their liking. They will ruin your life and career trying to prove that you're actually trans.
Only a few punches were thrown in yesterday's opening Olympic match between Algerian boxer Iman Khalif and Italian boxer Angela.
To be clear, Rising and The Hill are not like the greatest news outlets, by the way. I don't necessarily take their reporting at face value, so there's probably going to be a little bit of to some things they say here on my end, but hopefully this is a relatively objective framing of the situation. Like, the Rising can be either like giga horrible or completely fine. We're flipping the coin here.
Carini, before Carini dropped out, which is a rare occurrence in boxing. Now, the entire match lasted 46 seconds. Many are raising their eyebrows at the Algerian boxer, Iman Khalif. Khalif was disqualified during the
So, she was disqualified, I think, because of heightened testosterone levels years ago. But like I said, this is not a sign of being trans. There are countless cis women around the world that have heightened testosterone levels. If you're a guy, I can assure you there is a woman somewhere on the planet, a cis woman somewhere on this planet with higher testosterone naturally than you produce. That she exists somewhere. It is just a thing that happens.
2023 World Championships and sanctioned by the International Boxing Association for failing to meet gender standards because of high levels of testosterone. The president of the IBA said at the time, quote, based on DNA tests, we identified a number of athletes who tried to trick their colleagues into posing as women. According to the results of the test, it was proved that they have XY chromosomes. Such athletes were thus excluded from competition.
Generally, the people who can tell if someone is trans are trans people because they've gone through, the process of medical transition more often than not. And from what I've heard, Iman Khalif, I think her name is, she does not demonstrate any of those, signs or pieces of evidence of, any, signs of gender transition medically whatsoever. So not only is there no record of her having been trans, but on top of that, trans people that generally can recognize, hints at that kind of thing, recognize nothing. They don't see anything. This is very clear, or very clearly a cis woman. Supposedly, she does have a DSD, though. She's from a country where it's illegal to be LGBT. Yeah, on top of that, she's definitely not trans. I do believe she has a DSD, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. Difference in sexual development, just basically a very minor DSD, which is just a form of intersex. Very, it just has to do with, having a difference in, your genetics and the amount of testosterone you put off. It can range anywhere from, having multiple types of reproductive system and multiple, genitalia and stuff, or it can be as simple as, maybe you just have a higher T level than most cis women do, or maybe you have a higher estrogen level than most cis men do. That's the most common type of DSD, and that seems to be what she has from what I've heard.
But the International Olympic Committee cleared Khalif to compete anyway in the game, saying, quote, everyone competing in the women's category is complying with the competition eligibility.
She wasn't disqualified for testosterone levels. The test was never revealed. So are they lying here when they said she was disqualified because of her testosterone test, her testosterone levels? Were they just lying here? I wouldn't put it past Rising to just lie or get something wrong, to be fair, but, just double checking. Because I've heard that from multiple sources.
Ability rules, they are women on their passports, and it's stated that this is the case, that they are female. Now, after the match, the Italian athlete said, quote, I felt a severe pain in my nose, and with the maturity of the boxer, I said, enough. Carini then said, quote, I am not here to pass judgment or pass judgment if an athlete is this way, and in that sense, it's not up to me to decide. The Italian premier, Giorgia Meloni, criticized the match, saying,
yeah, apparently the other boxer was like, she punched me too hard. Wah, she might be trans. Not saying she is. Not saying it's bad if she is, but, might want to look into that. I really hate that that's the immediate sore loser response for athletes now is they're going to accuse their opponent of being trans. We've seen that happen with that one roller skater lady who like came in like 87th place to some roller derby and got pissed off that a trans woman beat her, but said trans woman lost, and so did the lady in question, lost to a little kid. Because it was fucking roller derby. It was just a nothing thing. It was like a fun like competition. I don't even think there was like money on the line. Happened to Simone Biles. Interesting. Yeah, J.K. Rowling was pushing this shit big time. Dude, J.K. Rowling is hilarious because never have I seen somebody who has more evidently had work done to, like, feminize herself. Do you guys remember what J.K. Rowling looked like 15 years ago? Pre-plastic surgery. She does so much shit-talking and judging of the appearances of trans women, and frankly other women in general. She's so fucking vile and bitter about the appearance of other women, especially, you know, even cis women, as we're seeing with the whole transvestigation thing. This is not the same face. Like, sometimes when you see her ears as well, you can see she's got that sort of, like, tightening thing that goes up, like, around the top of the ear that they'll do. And when you see her look up, you can see her nostrils, and that's also a big giveaway of just how much work she's had done. There's nothing wrong with having work done, to be clear. I'm not shit-talking people who have work done. What I'm shit-talking is the blatant hypocrisy and the bitterness. She is someone who has spent so much money, clearly, to transform herself into the ideal look for a woman in her mind, and then spends all of her time shitting on other women for not meeting the physical appearance threshold and standards that she puts in place for herself and others. She is just a bitter, misogynistic, like, festering cunt. I don't know what else to say. Like, fuck J.K. Rowling. I know this isn't, like, a hot take, but, like, she's not just transphobic. She's also misogynist. She's also just straight up misogynistic.
Saying that she opposes allowing female athletes to compete against athletes with, quote, genetically male characteristics. Khalif fights again on Saturday. There's also one more athlete, Lin Yu-ting of Taiwan, who similarly failed the gender eligibility requirement and was stripped of a bronze medal last year. She will compete in her first match tomorrow.
Now, many conservatives online were furious with the results of the match.
How did she just mushmouth that hard on national television? That goes crazy.
Kick founder Clay Travis tweeted, quote, "Every Democrat leader says this is perfectly fine. The man is a woman. It's way past time for choosing on this issue." Now, Olympic medalist.
I love the right immediately jumping on this. And now the entire, like, unanimous, like, unless you're just lying about this story, everyone knows that the boxer in question is a cis woman. And so all the conservatives who jumped on this story now have egg on their face and look fucking stupid because they all jumped to claim this is a trans person when they weren't a trans person. It was just a cis woman.
Sharon Davies tweeted, quote,
They would have been stupid even if they were complaining about a trans boxer, to be clear, but now they look even dumber because they were wrong about the initial premise in the first place.
IOC are negligent in their duty to care to female boxers, knowingly putting males with a huge advantage in the ring with females.
Who the fuck is Clay Travis? No clue. No one important. None of these people are important. They all bought blue check marks. Like, the fact that the tweets we're going to see are from people who pay for blue check marks tells you that they are not fucking important.
And these were hardly the only people to speak of. My social media feed right now is nothing but outraged. Many of them conservatives, others.
I'm guessing this guy is the right-wing host and this lady is the left-wing host. If there even is a left-wing host anymore. How many hosts have they cycled through on this show? Jesus Christ.
As well, J.K. Rowling, who obviously...
Who remembers when it was Sagar and Crystal Ball? Who remembers that? And, like, they would just post cringe, but it was, like, usually kind of balanced cringe. What happened to those two people? Where are Crystal Ball and Sagar today? Her name was Crystal Ball. Yes. Did they cease existing? Breaking points? Interesting. None of them got that gas.
The Harry Potter author has been very outspoken on issue of trans people in women's spaces, said, could any
This isn't even a story about trans people in women's spaces, though. This is a story about people who think that trans people in women's spaces is such a problem that they lost their shit at a cis woman and absolutely cucked themselves going hard against a cis woman and ended up being the real ones, the real, like, destroyers of hardworking women's careers in sports. Like, exactly what they accuse trans women competing of being. Like, they did what they accuse trans women who compete in sports of doing, which is destroy a cis woman's career in sports by harassing her until she, like, fucking conceded, I guess, her victory. I don't even know.
Picture, she has a picture of the two boxers. Could any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head and whose life ambition he's just...
I'm guessing that's J.K. Rowling's tweet. It really is funny how much J.K. Rowling cucked herself here, because she tries to frame the smirk of a male, by the way, yeah. Dude, you know she cannot, like... I bet she got the plastic surgery she got because she thought she looked too masculine. She must, like, really fucking hate men and must have just, like, looked in the mirror, saw herself smile, and said, that smile is too masculine, and then went and got work done for it. Yeah, in all seriousness, she is deranged and, like, insane. Like, the fact that anyone would tweet the words, the smirk of a male, kind of shows how much, like... I love how the right-wing movement has now tied themselves to man-hate. Like, on one hand, they have to be with the actual man-hating movement, that is the TERF group. Because the TERF shit is just motivated entirely by, like, man-hate turned deranged, turned to deranged levels, and, like, just kind of overflowing. Now the right is tying themselves to that movement after a decade of being, like, the anti-feminist movement. It's so bizarre. It's so... like... right-wing politics just makes no fucking sense. Today, Iman Khalif won her QF bout, and next Tuesday she'll compete for a place for a medal. Okay, wait, I thought she, oh, sorry. I thought she forfeited the match. Was it just one match, but she's still in it? Okay. All right, if she's still in it, then I guess we're cool. I mean, obviously we're not cool. This is still fucked, but, I mean, at least it's not Jover for her, right?
Shattered. Hashtag Paris 2024. A lot of commentary from people on the right noting that this is a man, describing this as a man beating up a woman and for sport, which is very despicable, detestable. I will say, so this person, this athlete, does not identify as trans, just identifies as a woman.
Right.
In Algeria, it is illegal to transition, I understand. Now,
yeah, this is very clearly not a trans athlete, considering she comes from a country where you cannot legally get access to gender-affirming care, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Maybe if we're talking about a British athlete or an American athlete, you could at least, like, suggest there's a possibility that medical records are just sealed and it's been kept secret. But in this case, it's like, when did she transition? How? Like, how? She comes from a country where you're not allowed to be trans. They don't have the medical care legally available to do that. She's cis.
Now, this person failed prior tests to determine...
I love how they're like, this person, they are so embarrassed to say she. Even though we're talking about a cis woman here, not a trans woman, a cis woman, they're still so embarrassed to say she because this guy probably spent the last few days dunking on this athlete, saying it was probably saying that this was a situation of a trans athlete owning a cis athlete, and now he's embarrassed to admit he was wrong. That's what I'm guessing is happening here, and so he keeps saying they.
I think they're best described as an intersex person, probably, for having high levels.
Well, no. The actual term is someone with a DSD, a difference in sexual development. If you were actually talking about the real medical terminology, like that would be used in the medical field today, they would refer to her as having a difference in sexual development, or a DSD. These can range from a wide variety of different outcomes. Some people with DSDs might have, for example, they might be born 100% on the surface. You're like, that is a cis male. and they've got, like, you know, they have a penis, they have testes, they have presumably a male reproductive system. They test positive for XY, or they have XY chromosomes, just like any cis male would have. But then maybe they get an ultrasound or an X-ray or whatever at some point in their life, and it turns out they've got a uterus inside them and have their whole fucking life. That is an example of a difference in sexual development, and a completely true story, by the way. In the case of Iman Khalif, I think more likely than not, she just has heightened testosterone levels, which is a very low-tier, simple DSD. The term intersex is now considered very outdated and is not used in the medical field anymore because it's not very accurate due to, like, if you've got a cis woman in every way in front of you who just has a slightly heightened testosterone level, intersex kind of seems like an over-the-top umbrella term to lump that person into. So DSD is what's currently used for anyone, you know, curious.
Of testosterone, certain genetically male characteristics that many people would probably say, argue that they should not be competing against women who don't possess the same biological characteristics.
Notice how much the goalpost is now moving? How now cis women have to be excluded from sports and women's spaces because they were born with a difference in sexual development. And so now they're extending this, like, it's so weird how on one hand the right argues that, like, the left hates men and men are under attack, yet meanwhile they claim males are dangerous and we need to protect our girls from these horrible males, which are actually women. It's so bizarre, man. I guess it lines up because in the end they're still hating women at the end of the day, but it's odd how much they have embraced man hate. Because TERFs are a man hate movement that is, like, festered into beyond that point, right?
Would seem to be most fair.
They think they're hating men, but they're really hating women. TERFs are.
Right. Now, the IOC does provide a framework to international federations, but it's non-binding. So they didn't do any testosterone tests. We know that much. They said they did biochemical tests. And we know that neither of these athletes identify as transgender. I think it's a very interesting scenario where you have had a lot of conservatives argue that athletes need to compete with their...
It's not an interesting scenario. The conservatives were just retarded and wrong, and now they look like idiots because they were very publicly wrong, and now they all have to go, okay, well, you know, maybe we shouldn't have intersex cis women allowed in sports too. You know, it's like, okay, man, when we're really moving the goalposts this much where we have to start excluding cis people from participating in the sports that they were born, that align with the gender they were born into, like, at that point, we're just trying to keep the culture war burning at this point, clearly. Like, they're desperate.
Their gender assigned at birth. There are situations where people are born intersex, and they are not transgender, and they are assigned a sex at birth.
By the way, if a cis person having an advantage over other cis people in that sport is a problem that should disqualify them, why the fuck are we not calling for athletes like Michael Phelps to have their records stricken from the Olympic record, and for future genetic anomalies like him to be disqualified? Oh, wait, because there was no culture war about this topic when he was swimming, and like, we only care about, like, the possibility of it being a trans person because then we can get clicks and push the culture war and make money? Oh, okay, cool. These people will never, ever, ever apply the standard to cis people who have a genetic advantage that has nothing to do with DSDs. They will never apply the same standard. They only fucking care because now they have to cope about the existence of DSDs, and they have to cover and damage control for the fact there's a big public story about the existence of the sex spectrum. A big point the right has been able to hammer home time and time again is the widely and broadly believed idea that sex and gender are the same and there are only two sexes. Yeah, Logan Paul, like one of the worst people on the internet, also went after Iman Khalif as well, calling her a trans woman and claiming that she's a man, like, pretending to be a woman and trying to win as well. So yeah, the Paul brothers are also on the transphobia train, and in case you guys are wondering if you needed another reason to hate the Paul brothers. And God, I really need to see Logan Paul just get fucking... I'm gonna say it. I hope that Mike Tyson kills him. Just straight up. I hope it's like Bruce Willis, Pulp Fiction, not throwing the fight. I hope he goes all in on Logan Paul. Goes for the ear. I want to... In Minecraft. Oh my god, Zan is a psycho. So true. Zan, you're fed posting again! Wait a second, guys. Zan has always fed posted? I love that, like, nobody normal in my community cares about those messages because they're like, Zan fed posted about a bad person in private? Nice.
Birth, that is the closest to how their body developed. And I think that exposes some cracks in this argument.
No, Mike Tyson is going to fight Jake Paul. Oh, it's Jake, not Logan, my bad. I mix them up because they're the same person in my mind. Like, they're just an amorphous blob of like, I hate them, you know? And Paul is one of my least favorite names to ever exist, so, yeah, I really hate the Paul brothers for so many reasons.
That you have to compete with the gender assigned at birth, and it does give some credit to the people who are saying the best way to determine fairness in terms of sports and the advantages you have that are gender-based are tests of testosterone, are tests of hormones and testosterone present in the body. It seems to be much more clear-cut given that.
Well, right, but this person previously failed those tests.
Right, that's true. And I think that
I love how he's trying to still hold on to the idea that she could still be trans coming from a country where it's illegal to be LGBT. I don't think they have particularly good, like, medical coverage and care there and whatnot, so I don't know if you can get much elective, like, surgery for the sake of transitioning. Like, it's just such a... like, these people live in fucking La La Land. They don't live in real life. They have to come up with, like, conspiracy theories to not look stupid when they jump the gun and attack somebody. It's so fucking funny, dude. Unfortunate that Chris Tyson... That Tyson is a Trump supporter? Oh, Mike Tyson, not Chris Ava Tyson. Okay. I don't know why, but I had different person on my mind. Is Mike Tyson a Trump supporter? You know what? His only redemption is to knock Jake Paul's jaw off into the crowd. Like, just like to punch him, and it's like in a cartoon when like a character punches a robot and the entire jaw comes off and goes flying. That's what's gotta happen to one of the Paul brothers when they fight him for Mike Tyson to redeem himself.
it would be much better if we had consistent testing for all athletes of testosterone if we're going to have a scenario where people are competing, we have transgender athletes, that is...
I love how we're already moving the goalposts too here. We're talking about this vague issue of transgender athletes being a problem to try and like cope post about how wrong they were to harass this cis woman. And they're still trying to like defend it in the most like copium way possible. In Minecraft, Mayurabe, obviously.
This has been determined. 2 years of HRT in many cases is what equalizes the playing field. Mm-hmm. And testing the testosterone levels is important as well to ensure that it's working and it's consistent because there are always outliers. And for some, you know, sometimes you're still faster. They've done tests of track and field sprinting after 2 years. And so for some sports, it could be 3.
Dude, she's not even arguing the point that she wants to argue well. Do you guys want to hear the actual strong argument that the anti-trans and sports people have? This is their strongest argument, and even this argument falls the fuck apart. Their argument is that the advantage that trans people will always have over their cis counterparts that will give them, like, you know, an unfair advantage is the likelihood of having trained while identifying as the opposite sex or gender. So the argument would be that, like, if you've got a trans woman boxer, for example, even if she's been trans for like 5 years, if she had been training for 10 and spent 5 years training with like higher testosterone levels, more likely, and the, you know, identifying and having the body of a man, then presumably that benefit would carry over even post-transition. I don't know how strong that point is. It might literally be complete bullshit, for all I know. Like, it is very commonly used, and it is probably the strongest argument I've seen used by these people in debates because it typically doesn't have a good response. But that is actually the argument that if she wants to make against trans competitors, she should be making, because it would make the most idiots agree with her. But these idiots on Rising aren't even good at, like, making transphobic arguments. Maybe it's because I've heard so many transphobic arguments I can pick out, like, the strongest ones I've heard, but they're all bad. They're all dumb arguments. None of them hold up to, like, scrutiny.
3 years. But really, understanding that biology is more complicated than we just have a gender assigned at birth and we are that gender.
I mean, in 99% of cases, it's not more complicated, but there are certainly outlier cases where it is more complicated. Yes.
And it's, it seems like we have 2 outlier cases here.
Outlier cases, by the way. This is always their copium response to the existence of people with DSDs, by the way, because they'll always argue there's just 2 sexes. We have a binary gender and sex like it's binary, right? And then you say, no, it's not. The scientific community considers it a spectrum, and here's why. And then you explain, like, the way that the scientific community views sex is more so a distribution of sexual characteristics, both both hormonal, chromosomal. I believe it goes, like, down to your physical features, such as your reproductive system and your genitalia. These are all factors that'll play into where you fall on the sex spectrum. This includes height and your muscle density, your bone density. These are all factors to put into place, and that determines where you fall on the spectrum of biological sex. The existence of people with DSDs is a very clear wrench in the idea of a binary. So when you bring up that people with DSDs exist, they are acknowledged by the medical community, and there's no debate about their existence. They have to find a way to acknowledge that, discredit it, and maintain the binary. They have to find a way. So what they do is they try to claim that people with DSDs, or intersex people, because they don't even know the modern terminology, they, like, just learned about intersex people and have just started making their response to things. They don't even know that DSD is the actual term yet. Pretty good, like, it's a really good show of how these people have their talking points fed to them and they don't actually know what they're talking about, because if they did, and they did even any research whatsoever, they would know that currently difference in sexual development is what the scientific community and medical community use, not intersex. Intersex has been out of parlance for like 14 years now. Anyway, that aside, really ineffective propaganda. I don't know why, but it feels like the right is kind of losing their grip on their propaganda a little bit. Like, it feels like they're getting worse at it. Are they trying less? Are they just in, like, a little bit of going through the motions stage? I wonder what's happening. Xanderhall, like how there is a woman with CAIS, XY chromosomes, internal balls, but are physically female sex in every way, and they aromatize testosterone into estrogen, so female puberty. Let me show you a really good example of someone with a DSD that just kind of completely throws a wrench into the right's conception of sex. This story goes
A 33-year-old man from China had been experiencing stomach pain since his teen years. Several tests were done, but finally it was recently discovered that he had been menstruating since the last 20 years. So he identified...
Dude, imagine being a guy. You've got stomach pains. You go to the doctor. They tell you, oh, you're menstruating. The guy's first reaction was probably to, like, wind up a punch at the doctor. like if you're a guy, you have stomach pains, you're pissed off, you finally go to the doctor says, I think you're menstruating. You'd be like, you know, like getting ready to defend your manhood. He's like, no. You're actually menstruating. Like, you have a uterus inside of you, and your mangina is bleeding. I'd be pissed. Where would the discharge go? Clearly nowhere. Clearly whatever discharge was being produced was just, like, accumulating and causing pain. Can you imagine? They had to, like, go in there and get the, like, goopy uterus out of this guy. Poor dude.
Identified as a man all his life and goes by the alias Chen Li to hide his actual identity. Now, he had been experiencing abdominal pain and recurring loss of blood while he urinated since the time he was 13 years old. So what seemed...
Holy shit. So obviously there would be signs of this kind of thing, because apparently since he was 13, around the time when you would start menstruating if you're a cis woman, he's been having these pains, which means he had like 14 years worth of period goop inside of his body, not discharging, that had to be removed surgically. Stun lock, this is not this is in no way, shape, or form a stun lock. This is literally an example of someone with a DSD and how it can occur in much more extreme ways, right?
Like a recurring issue actually became a cause of concern when doctors discovered that Mr. Lee was actually born with a uterus and ovaries. So he had the biology of a man and a woman.
Yep. So yeah, that's just an extreme example of a DSD. And the amount of variance ranges constantly, so they have to refer to these people as outliers or mistakes or glitches or some synonymous word that can acknowledge their existence, discredit them, and also try and maintain the existence of this binary they're so desperate to argue exists that just doesn't. The medical and scientific community don't agree that there's a binary. The government and institutions are slowly adopting the perception that the scientific and medical communities have already, that there is not a sexual binary, and it's just starting to become more and more the undeniable truth, and those that are desperate to hang on and say it's not are continuing to look dumber and dumber and dumber, the same way that, like, back in, the 1990s, we slowly started to realize the God freaks claiming evolution isn't real and trying to ban it and attacking the teaching of evolution were themselves insane. And the right has let go of that shit a while ago because they realized how bad it looked. Now they've moved on to the next thing that they want to attack educating people about, because every time people get more educated about something like evolution, about like the existence of slavery and racism in this country and the Civil War, like any of the things the right lies about or tries to defund education about, when more people know about these things, less people vote for them. And so they've been attacking the education system since as long as the Republican Party has been recognizable to how it is today.
That are good examples for why these standards need to be fleshed out, and that it's not so clear cut. And when we start assessing gender,
I love how they're now trying to argue, so yeah, they need to make even more strict standards so cis women can also be disqualified from competing against other cis women. Jesus Christ. Really? This is where we're at now? We're really at this point?
In this way, this probably wouldn't have been as much of a conversation or a question if we didn't have the huge debate around transgender.
My grandpappy used to told me if it ain't in the Bible, it ain't real. If I recall correctly, guns never show up in the Bible a single time. There's not a single firearm in the entirety of the Bible. Not in any of the books. New Testament or Old.
Gender athletes, because they're women on their passports. They have the same gender they were assigned.
That's the response you come back at that's what you come back at with them when they say that. You're like your grandpa. When they say nothing in the Bible is real, you just reply, "Oh, grandpa, is your shotgun in the Bible? Are there firearms in the Bible? Oh, they're not in the Bible? God doesn't mention fire. Oh, that doesn't sound God. That sounds satanic. Not a single mention? Godly lightning is kind of like a gun? Eh."
And at birth, why were they even being tested or questioned? I don't know that this would have happened 10, 20 years ago.
That's like the best response to conservative Christians, I feel, accusing them of being into satanic shit. Like say like out Bible thumper them, like think of a thing they're into that's not in the Bible, that's like vaguely like that you could vaguely like shade as satanic the way they do, and just do it to them. Claim they're into something satanic and watch them get mad.
Because it's in elite physical competition spaces. Look, you can be a woman for your passport. I'm not trying to take that away from anyone. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's self-identification. Identify however you want. I support and affirm you. I don't care at all, even in the slightest little bit.
That's nice.
I want the same protections and treatment. We're talking about a specific aspect of human socialization, of competitive sports, where the differences between men and women are significant. In most ways, like our legal system does not in most ways recognize differences between men and women, as they should not.
Well, the fact is that there is recognition of differences between what we label as men and women, which are very broad categories as, considered by the medical and scientific community now. Not really men and women, men and women. Man, woman, these are terms that are more socially decided and ingrained. I mean, every word is, but when you say that woman over there, you're just kind of assuming that the person you see walking over there, due to a list of features you can tell on a surface level with a snap judgment, you just assume that person is a woman. Sometimes you're referring to a guy, though. How many times have you seen, like, a skinnier person with long hair from behind them and you, like, tap on their shoulder, like, hi, ma'am, and they turn around, it's just a cis guy with long hair? Like, you turn around, and guy's got a beard and stuff, and it's just like, yo, with a deep voice, and you're like, yo, sorry, you had long hair and you were skinny, and I was going to ask directions. I'm sorry I said ma'am. I'm sorry about that. I have done that before. And that's not like a case, like, there are just you can't rely on people's, surface level physical appearance to know even their gender or their sex. This is all assumptions, and these are just words we use to make communication easier, and it's not always accurate. So the scientific perception of male and female, I should say, is one that these people just are not even in any way researched on. And to be clear, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a medical professional. I've just done a decent amount of cursory research on this issue, and I know that the average conservative lacks the understanding of how the scientific community categorizes human bodies to honestly engage with this issue. They just can't.
But there are some ways in which men and women are different, and in terms of competitive physical ability, that is one of them.
Yeah.
And so you have to separate men and women in sports, even from a young age, if you want it to be competitive at some point. And now we're getting to, you're right, a tricky situation where...
Wait, we have to differentiate men and women to get competitive. What is this, like, roundabout copium, like, stun lock they're doing to distract from the fact they got fucking owned by jumping the gun and claiming a cis woman was trans? And now they have to be like, well, we were right to do this all along because, maybe we should also keep cis women from competing against other cis women if they have DSDs.
This person did not transition, so they're not under the transgender category. However, they do have a natural biological advantage in terms of higher testosterone levels that should probably mean that they're not competing against biological women.
Okay, so we're fully, like, copium posting now. They got like this athlete got, like, fully confirmed. There's no doubt that this athlete is cis. Most outlets are reporting that this athlete is cis, and yet these right-wing commentators are still trying to find a copium response that still allows them to maintain that this woman shouldn't be allowed to compete. So they could have been right all along. So now they're trying to claim that cis people with DSD shouldn't be allowed to compete. But they would never, of course, maintain that energy with a cis person with some other genetic variable that gives them an advantage as well, right? So they wouldn't maintain the standard with like Michael Phelps if he was still swimming in the Olympics today, for example. They wouldn't keep this energy. Anyway, if you enjoyed me ripping apart the dumb fucks on Rising in regards to their, like, pseudo right-wing their attempts to, like, pseudo grift to the right wing, and the right-wing host theirs attempts to try and copium post about how he was wrong about this athlete, then consider dropping a like. It really does mean a lot. Helps the channel a ton, as does commenting and subscribing and ringing the bell icon. So if you guys do that, thank you very much. Helps a lot, means a lot. And of course, consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description, including joining my free fan Discord, where I announce all my new uploads, streams, and everything like that. I also host events there, including call-in streams, watch parties, and I also announce all my new uploads and streams, so you won't miss anything. We also do gaming events in there, so I hope to see you guys join. And of course, consider possibly donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon if you have the money for it and you feel like it. You can also buy merch as well, so consider it. Thank you so much for watching regardless, though, and have a good one. How'd you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out pretty good. Good segment? Hell yeah. God, they really, like, flubbed this entire culture war thing, didn't they? They really fucked up. Just jumping on this lady claiming she's trans, and now they've all gotten proven wrong, and they're like, Now they have to maintain that they don't want trans, or not trans, cis women with DSDs competing, which is a really losing point, I think. Oh, there's no point in doing that now, Secret Synth, especially with the stuff that's coming out about Demon Mama each passing day. She's having a lot of bad stuff, way worse stuff, leak about her anyway, so I'd rather people just have their fun with that. And then on top of that, usually when you're being lied about, it's best to just let them keep doing that until they've run out of steam, because then they've given you all the rope they need. Well, they've given themselves all the rope they need to hang themselves. A big one is Cherry claiming I didn't pay them when they can't nuke the receipts from me paying them. They can nuke DMs. They nuked all their DMs with me, but Cherry can't nuke the payment receipts from when I sent them their pay. That's something they can't make go away. They can't unexist that, and so once that lie gets proven wrong, oh, it already has. I posted the transactions even after they stopped working for me. But once I post all of the receipts from me paying them over the last few years, and they're proven wrong on that, it's gonna be like, okay, DM, what else is going on, you know? Yeah. I'm excited for that, but I'm just gonna give it time. There's no rush to respond to drama like this, especially when so few people in my audience seem to really care enough, really, to just be mad, you know? It feels like this is such a continuation of the Keffels drama that everyone around here already didn't really care. Shit is coming out about DM where I haven't really paid attention to this whole thing. Apparently, Westside Tyler found tweets from Demon Mama's partner talking about having a ton of Shotokan on their phone. And this was like back when Demon Mama was with this person, apparently, so interesting. This was before like having a big platform or anything too, so they were it was before, you know, knowing better than to admit that kind of thing, I guess. And so people dug up like old comments about having, not Demon Mama having a ton of Shotokan, but Demon Mama's partner having it. So that's pretty weird. And there was another tweet about like, I don't remember exactly what the details were of the tweet, but it was pretty bad. I heard about Tyler. Did he ask you for a debate or convo? I think he did ask for a convo in my Discord, but I haven't seen the message. People were telling me about it though. I'm not very good with Discord. I'm kind of a boomer with it, so I need to like look at my, I guess it would be in like my pings in my Discord maybe? Unless it got, like the message got nuked by a mod for adding me. I don't know. I don't think a video response to the drama is necessary, but I think it'd be important to make some sort of statement on Twitter eventually. No, like I hate Twitter, and on top of that, no one on Twitter, none of the people that are mad at me on Twitter or like interested about this that are on Twitter matter, right? Like no one cares. Yeah. Like I said, like 1% of the chat and community are saying you should respond to this, while the whole rest of the community are like, who the fuck cares? So I feel like it might just be a situation of let them like nuke themselves just like Keffels did. Mind you, like I said before, it literally took 3 months maybe of just letting Keffels destroy herself before she destroyed herself. Now she's quitting the internet, all right? Like, I don't think I have to do anything. Alrighty, I got an interesting topic coming up here. Yeah, take what I mentioned, by the way, with a grain of salt on that, because I skimmed through Tyler's videos, so I don't remember every, like, word of it, so I'm not, like, word for wording the tweet, but apparently Westside Tyler's VOD is there in the chat, so you guys can go see the tweets yourselves if you want to. We already did it, Gemini D87. It was a good convo. Should be up on Shark's channel. I didn't stream it because I didn't stream yesterday, but it's streamed on Shark's end, so it'll be up as a video. You should go watch it. You can watch it on the VOD, like, now or after stream. Shark is, to this day, one of, if not the most chill content creators that I've talked to. Pepper T21, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. How kind of you. Thank you. Said, sorry if that was rude or prying. I just thought I'd let you because I respect you both as being in my top 5 YouTubers. Also, here, have a Death Note meme. You like Bad Empanada, Pepper T21? That is mega cringe. You are going to get big time bullied in chat for that. Holy crap. Chat's not going to let that one go. Death Note, but Light's family is a little more observant. I've seen this video. It's really good.
Justice. I protect the innocent and those who fear evil. I'm the one who will become the god of a new world that everyone desires.
Today's garbage day, so if you've got any, bring it down with you, okay? Light, are you okay?
Hey, Light! Come on! Dinner's ready! So what's with the family meeting, Dad?
I don't want you to be alarmed. I'm sure you've heard of this Kira investigation.
Oh, sir,
I will not sit back and let evil triumph.
Sorry, should have clarified. You gotta clarify. My bad. Okay, Pepper T21 is not a Bad Empanada fan. They were talking about Surus, who is cool and based.
Oh, Light.
Please take him away.
And that's how it ends. Here's the website Tyler message. Oh, wait, Tyler said something in website chat? Some free time over the next few days to talk. I think you looked really, really bad during this entire thing, but it's fairly clear the entire story. Oh, yeah. It's fairly clear the entire story hasn't been told, and I want to clarify some massive holes in Demon Mama's story and reporting. I'd like to ask you some questions about your relationship with Whiteleaf Cherry and your financials, specifically, as well as nail down a timeline of what exactly happened between the start of the Keffels thing last year up to the Demon Mama drop. No is a fine answer, and sorry for not just dropping this in a gen, but I thought it'd be fair to let your community buffer reaction to my message, and I prefer to keep things public in any case. That's pretty based. Yeah, maybe I'll talk to him. I really do appreciate that he just like immediately picked up that there's stuff being hidden. Like he immediately was like, all right, Zan looks unhinged there, but what the fuck is DM hiding? To be fair, it's pretty obvious, but I appreciate that he does seem to be of a pretty small group of people that were able to recognize that out the gate, so that's massively respectable. I don't know. Zan, have you seen the UK neo-Nazis, riots, and terrorism over misinformation? I have not heard about it, but I feel like there's always neo-Nazi riots happening somewhere, right? Westside Tyler's a former journalist. That actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. He seems to have the nose for it still. Finally, someone who's not too cowardly to ignore Zan's side. Hell yeah. Pepper T21, or someone who's not too cowardly and ignores Zan's side. There you go. Pepper T21, thank you for the $5. Additionally, says, friend of both Surus and I mentioned Surus feels like you're not friends anymore because you haven't talked since you moved. If this friend lied, I'm sorry. I'm just saying to reach out if you can. Yeah, I should reach out to Surus. It's been my bad. I haven't been super, like, online and reading DMs lately. There's a ton of people whose messages I need to get back on. It's just been, really, ever since moving has been a lot, right? I basically moved while sick with COVID. As I've told you guys, I was, like, vomiting in between trips of moving my stuff into this place. Immediately go into the Keffels drama. Recover from that, but have to get, like, the channel kind of recovered from it, and then we're straight into this drama. So I've just kind of been in a non-stop sort of, either I'm busy with real life or busy with, like, internet stuff, and I haven't had a lot of time to, just talk to people online and chill and sit down and just, like, grind some WoW with a friend or something, you know? So Surus had some rough times recently. Yeah, I'd love to catch up with Surus on that stuff, too, because, yeah, I mean, like, I like being there for my friends if I can. Zan, what do you think of Destiny? Like, do you think he's better than Walsh? And I'm torn between the two at the moment because they both have semi-good takes. I think that, like, Destiny is just an asshole and has some bad takes, for sure. I think he's probably one of the more well-reasoned content creators out there, but I also think he's an asshole. It's pretty simple. Tyler's also a Marine. Dude, if I had a nickel for every Marine who thinks this drama is kind of dumb and thinks Demon Mama is is hiding something and has told me as much, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that this happened twice. It's so weird how there's like 2 different people who are Marines who've told me, like, this drama is nothing. Who the fuck cares? Not really exactly that, but who are just not exactly on the Zan hate train, if that makes sense. I mean, he's always been that way, Dante Asai. That's kind of part of his brand, to be fair. Antifa Private 616, thank you for the tier 1 gift sub to Ectoplasm. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you for the $5 donos. Says, allow your compatriots to make donations on your behalf, comrade. Money comes out of the sky as angelic noises happen. Seriously, don't feel bad. Hell yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I assume that was a message more towards Ectoplasm than me, but thank you. And I hope Ectoplasm appreciates the blue name. And then Matt Banks, thank you for the $8 dues. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Says, still friendly with Merrick? I think so. I saw that Merrick, like, during the initial start of this drama, said something about me unfollowing her, and I never unfollowed her. So she might think that I dislike her, but I never at any point unfollowed her, as far as I know. I think it might have just been Elon's Twitter being fucky. So from my understanding, she probably thinks that I burned the bridge with her. But I certainly haven't. I think Elon's Twitter's just posting cringe. It might have also been, I think she said something about, like, her Twitter account getting, like, shadow banned and making a new one, and so I might have unfollowed her old one and followed her new one, and maybe she now has gone back to the old one? I don't know. Merrick just posts on Twitter these days, Adante Asai, but I don't really use Twitter much, so it's not... I don't know. I was never really close friends with Merrick. I mean... if she does consider the bridge burn, it's not that big of a difference, but I don't really have anything against her. Yeah, I'd say the Ryan Beard bridge is definitely burnt until more comes out about Demon Mama and Cherry, and then everyone realizes that they were dumb to go against me, and then like the whole like drama, like the end of the drama cycle happens, where everyone who took like a side against me comes back and apologizes and tries to rebuild the bridge. So... the bridge with Ryan Beard's probably burnt until that part of the drama cycle happens. It's happened a million times now, so we just gotta wait. Demon Mama called you a Trump supporter? Yeah, I know. I am very aware. That was like way earlier in the drama, dog. That's like irrelevant now. Anyway, guys, you all ready for the next segment in the list? Time to bust out the Sacred Scroll. I do love the Sacred Scroll. What should I cover next? Yeah. You know what? Let's do the chill segment. Let's do the chill segment. Fuck it. All right, everyone. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everyone. I assume you guys are all familiar with Pete Buttigieg. I assume most of you became familiar with him during the primaries before the 2020 election, but now he is in charge of, I believe, the Department of Transportation now, and he does a pretty good job at it. He does a pretty good job at his job, from what I hear. Outside of like right-wing propaganda bullshit. And he's also seemingly a pretty good guy. His background is very solid. His speaking appearances are really good. His positions seem to be pretty solid. And overall, I've been impressed by most of his appearances he's had on television, especially as of late. And he's being looked at right now as a very possible contender as Kamala Harris's VP pick for her run. So I think it's worth taking a look at something that happened a few days ago that has gone semi-viral, which is Pete Buttigieg going on Fox News and, well, apparently he had a message for Fox News viewers during an interview he did not too long ago. God, my nose will not stop itching. I need to get a nose hair trimmer, guys. I need it. I've really been putting it off for too long. Anyway, apparently, Pete Buttigieg is cooking lately. Oof, hate to contradict Zan, but he totally failed Ohio in the toxic waste train crash. What did he do that failed them, though? That's the thing. My understanding is that Pete Buttigieg has actually done a pretty good job as a whole, even if there's been some pretty big, like, disasters that have occurred during his tenure in his position. Like, you can't really, like, blame Biden on, like, October 7th happening, even if it happened during his presidency, for example, and getting us, like, involved in a conflict. Like, I don't think that alone you can really blame on Biden, for example. So I don't know if, like, the toxic train spillage under Buttigieg means it's his fault, because that was the fault of a long building problem of a lack of funding, pay, and particularly accountability for the companies that transport these toxic chemicals. I don't think this was a failure of the Department of Transportation. If I understand, it was a failure of accountability for private companies, right? Like Norfolk Southern was the company, if I remember, and there's no real accountability for them when they do this kind of shit and poison tons of people and ruin entire swaths of land, and that was really the problem there. Much like how PG&E, the Pacific Coast Power Company, has no accountability for having to upgrade their hardware, and so like every fucking rain or dry season, there is a few power lines that get downed or end up popping and exploding out there in the coastal woods and up in the mountains, and it starts a big forest fire and just wipes out acres and acres and acres of forest and mountainous like neighborhoods and stuff, because PG&E has no accountability. Like they can just get away with allowing their infrastructure to start wildfires across the coast every dry season, which is getting longer and more severe because of climate change. So I don't know if that's a Pete problem or if that's a broader legislation problem that might be out of his control. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of these big companies that we rely on for providing basic necessities such as transportation of like goods across the country and transportation of power, like these are things that these companies just have a monopoly on, and such a strong one that there's no accountability for them. Just like Boeing, for example, we've all been looking deep into Boeing lately with the whistleblowers going like, and how there's like no accountability for all the shit that's going wrong with their planes because they're so important. They're companies that are so important. There's really nothing that the government realistically does to punish them for what they fuck up, right? And I don't know if that's Pete's fault. I don't know. It seems like at least all I'm saying is he's got a pretty decent record. Like there's not a lot of obviously bad shit in his background. And on top of that, he's a very good speaker, and he seems like a human being on top of that. He doesn't come off as like a corporate robotic stooge, if that makes sense. He seems like an actual person. Apparently he went on Fox News recently and cooked. And so let's watch. I've only seen a few clips of this, and I'd like to watch, a more all-encompassing version of this, because my opinion on Pete Buttigieg goes up every time I hear him talk. Let's watch.
Republican strategist Rena Shaw, also with us, CNN political commentator, former Biden White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield. And I would like to say we have shown enormous restraint so far in this broadcast. It's 8:39 a.m., and I don't think we've mentioned the Veep stakes once. I'm ending that restraint right now. They just mentioned it right there, but it took a long time. And Kate, I want to play some sound for you because the contenders were out this weekend, including one who hasn't received quite as much attention, and that's Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg is from Ohio, right? That's a big battleground state. Like that's one we really would like to go blue because it typically goes hard red. Is that one that is Pete Buttigieg from Ohio? Is there a chance we could make that purple or blue? Is that the way? He's from Indiana, my bad. Okay. I thought he was from Ohio. Listen, guys, I'm not going to lie. Ohio, Indiana, the Dakotas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all those states, I've never been to them. And they're like, much like the UK, Europe, or anything outside of America, they're just sort of a blurb or a blur of nothing. Like, it's just all Ohio to me. It's just the homestead states, flyover states, right? They don't matter. I could never be president. The second I say, oh yeah, those flyover states, yeah, they don't fucking matter. The second I say that on TV, it's over.
Buttigieg, who went on Fox where he's very comfortable, and he went on the attack. Listen.
People think that crime is up when crime is down under Joe Biden and crime was up under Donald Trump. Now,
dude, the right-wing media hates Buttigieg. They brought him on Fox News expecting they were going to be able to railroad him, ironically. Instead, he went on and just listed a bunch of inconvenient facts about Biden's presidency that the Republicans had to cope about. Even in the title, they had to copium response to what Pete says. They tried to say, I think the title of Fox News' upload of this is Pete Buttigieg claims lowest crime and best economy in years despite conflicting data. There is no conflicting data. We're seeing record low crime rates and record economic growth under Biden. It's just very inconvenient to acknowledge that, it seems, for a lot of people. Like, as people just really want to hate Biden. They really do. And it's fine if you hate Biden, but it's really interesting that it leads to a disregard or hand-waving of, like, really big accomplishments. It really feels like a lot of the left wants to maintain this perspective that voting blue no matter who is something that's, like, shitty and done, like, despite what you want to do and not something that you should want to do. And that's a really weird perspective to try to uphold.
I don't know how often that gets reported on this network. So if you're watching this at home, do yourself a favor and look up the data.
Well, we invite that.
Great.
So, okay, two-part question here. Number one, do you think there is any realistic shot for Pete Buttigieg, who doesn't really bring a state necessarily with him? And two, the way he goes about that, the attack rather than defend there, what does that represent in terms of what might be a strategy for the Harris campaign going forward?
Yeah, well, I think there's absolutely a possibility for Secretary Pete, because here's the thing about the VP conversation. Everybody wants to game out the X's and O's of, you know, who can bring what state and what constituency. And obviously the political calculation is part of the discussion. Of course it is. But ultimately the choice is going to be, you know, who is the person that VP Harris feels has the best connection with, trusts, would be, you know, would have as a governing partner,
We're really pushing the line, though, to be honest. Like, God, we're less than 100 days from the election now, and we don't know for sure who Kamala Harris's VP will be. I'm leaning towards Buttigieg. I would like it to be Buttigieg, but he does, like they said, he doesn't really bring a state to the table, so that isn't necessarily the most strategic decision. It seems more likely that she's going to try to bring someone in that is known and well-liked from a battleground state, a purple state that we really need to swing, because that could make the difference in the outcome of the election. It's probably the smartest decision. I know that Shapiro, I know ironic last name, was being looked at. I think that I saw this is, dude, the people calling for Michelle Obama to be the VP are memeing, right? Like, that's a meme, right? Because back when people were calling for Biden to step down, people kept on saying Michelle Obama should take his place, and now they're claiming that she should be the VP, and it's like, does she even want to? What is happening? I sure as hell hope so. Why? Wait, why do you want Michelle Obama to be VP? I get that she was pretty based, I think, as First Lady, but I don't even think she liked being First Lady, so why would she want to be VP? I chose to believe it's a joke for my own sanity. I guess so. God, it's so bizarre. People are throwing some weird suggestions out there. Some really unserious suggestions. Not that, like, Michelle Obama would be bad as a VP. I just don't know if she would bring enough to the table strategically to help win.
Have as a reliable, campaign partner, somebody who's going to be able to go out and make the case in an effective and reliable way, which Secretary Pete obviously can. So sometimes I think that the kind of calculation around who has the best elector, who adds the most, electoral benefit, is a little overplayed relative to what's actually happening inside the campaign.
They're not looking at Pennsylvania anymore, and the rally in PA's interhall. No running mate has been unrolled in their home state for multiple decades now. Man, yeah, it really is weird. I don't know who she's gonna pick. I really hope she picks Biden, dude. I really hope Kamala just picks Biden. Straight up picks Biden to run with her as her VP. If she does that, I will laugh so fucking hard. I would laugh so fucking hard if Biden ends up being her VP. Because at this point, it's starting to look like he might be a good pick. He doesn't bring many swing states to the table, but I don't know. I feel like the number one thing people were complaining about was his age, and besides that, they're happy to vote for someone younger to beat Trump. So who knows? Maybe just Biden stepping back to the VP position and Harris being the one who's the actual president. That could go hard. Who knows? Unironically, that'd piss off the right so much. I'd love it. Yeah. Watch like the entire online left cry.
In terms of discussions about who she picks. So I think people should remember that. And for that reason, obviously VP Harris has worked with Secretary Buttigieg in the administration. And of course, as we've all seen many times and just saw yesterday, he's a terrific communicator. In terms of his response there, I mean, it was textbook. It was excellent. He, one thing that he's so great at is, he's always level-headed. He's
really
always calm.
Good at orating. He's really, really good at it. He's like the anti-Biden in that respect, where his speaking skills, I feel, actually force those that disagree with him to admit that he's made a good point, while Biden, even when he's making a good point, kind of stutters through it because he's not good at speaking and he's old. He's really the anti-Joe Biden in regards to speaking skills. Pete Buttigieg, I'm surprised he didn't pull more numbers to the debates because he did really well there too. Zan, talk about the Kentucky man. Who is it from Kentucky they're looking at bringing in as VP? Who is the Kentucky representative they're looking at? Beshear, yeah. Yeah. That could be a good pick. Blue Kentucky would go wild. Holy shit. Could you imagine Blue Kentucky? God damn. Yeah, Andy Beshear here, governor. Fuck. That would be a big, yeah, southerner. Oh, like a southern red state popular governor. Is he popular? Let's look up Andy Beshear's gubernatorial approval ratings. Andy Beshear gubernatorial approval rating. If his state likes him, that's big. The Morning Consult poll shows Beshear has a 67% approval rating with a 28% disapproving, placing him at second place among all governors. Holy shit. Hold on. Wait, this guy might be the one. Holy crap. Has Andy Beshear done any, Let's see what Andy Beshear's been up to lately. What's the biggest, newest story about him? Because he could be the guy, like legitimately. It might end up being him.
Yeah, VP hopeful Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear will speak to a sold-out crowd here in less than an hour. This comes as the Oklahoma Democratic Party for the DNC cast their votes for the DNC today.
This is what we do in Kentucky.
A Democratic VP hopeful is drumming up support from the Sooner State. Yes. On Thursday, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear will go in front of the Oklahoma Democratic Party as their guest speaker for the Oklahoma Future Fund, a fundraiser for local candidates.
He reiterated this weekend that
Hey, Kamala Harris, you should make me your VP. I promise this will be very good for your campaign.
he wanted to do everything he could to help the Oklahoma.
You can win Florida. I know how to speak to those weirdos over there in the dick of America.
Democratic Party.
Chair of the Oklahoma Democratic Party, Alicia Andrews, says the shortlister has good odds of snagging the ticket, saying Beshear is successful at working across the aisle.
First and foremost,
I think what gets us our first ever blue Texas is Texas gets tired of Greg Abbott, elects a Democrat, next election cycle, like after 2 Kamala terms, popular Democrat governor of Texas gets picked as VP, and we get first ever blue Texas. That would go fucking crazy. That, I think, is how it'll happen, too. Just don't admit you find her pretty if she's in the same building. Yeah.
He is the governor of a state that is mostly led by Republicans. And in order to become a governor in a state that has a Republican legislature, that means that he has to be a person who can communicate his values and what's important across the aisle.
We're going to help Kamala Harris defeat Donald Trump.
She also said enthusiasm is at an all-time high for Oklahoma Democrats as Vice President Kamala Harris makes her run for presidency. Momentum, Andrews says, will bring out a record number of Democratic voters this election.
Oklahoma hasn't voted for a Democratic president since President Johnson. And I don't see that changing in this election. But what my hope is that Democrats, with this new enthusiasm, that we turn out in record numbers and that we elect more Democrats on the state level and at the local level.
It's pretty important that you vote blue down ballot. It's pretty important. It is really, really vital that you go out, or we don't even need to go out. You can just get your mail-in ballot sent to you. Watch, top VP contender Andy Bashir seen walking dog as Harris interviews potential running mates. Forbes, what? Forbes breaking news. What is this story? This is legitimately a Forbes breaking news video. It's like 40 seconds long. It's called Top VP Contender Andy Bashir seen walking dog as Harris is interviews potential running mates. What? You're just walking his dog. Is that his friend? Is it just him and his buddy walking their dog? You know, I respect him even more seeing him walk that dog. He loves his pets. I feel like he could have some like servant or something walk the dog for him. Instead, he does it himself. Mad respect. Mad respect. A Morning Consult poll shows Kentucky Governor Andy Bashir is the most popular Democratic governor in the country. Damn! This is pretty big. After widespread speculation that Kentucky's Democratic governor, Andy Bashir, was in the list of potential running mates for Vice President Kamala Harris ahead of the Democratic National Convention, a new poll found Bashir is the most popular Democratic governor in the country. The Morning Consult poll shows Bashir has a 67% approval rating with 28% disapproving, placing him at second place among all governors. He falls behind Vermont Republican Governor Phil Scott, who has an astounding 81% approval rating. What is Phil Scott doing that's giving him such a high approval rating? What the fuck? We can't give up Scott Kelly or Governor Scott, Phil Scott, not Scott Kelly, my bad, tells flood-wary Vermont. Vermont seeks federal damage assessment for latest storm. Scott calls latest flooding demoralizing, but says Vermonters can't give up. Oh, is he doing so well right now because his state's going through a natural disaster and, like, people want familiarity and they feel like they need to... is he doing a good job of responding to it? Governor requests federal disaster declaration for July 10 through 11 storm. Okay, so it seems like a lot of that comes from the fact they're going through some natural disaster shit right now. And it's made him really popular. He's woke. Phil Scott is woke? Republican governor? Maybe. I mean, it's Vermont. Vermont's pretty north, but it's also really rural, so could also just be really conservative. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Andy Bashir might be the best pick. What do you guys think? Do we want to run a poll? Do any mods want to start a poll in the chat and see what people think will be the most likely outcome? Who's going to be the most likely pick for VP? It's looking like Andy Bashir might be the pick. I'm really curious what you guys think. Because right now I'm leaning on Andy Bashir because it's just such an obvious choice, right? Hoping he is. Yeah, I think Vermont Republicans aren't like Trumpers, if I remember. It can't not be Andy. Yeah. Look at Mark Kelly. Isn't Mark Kelly, like, awful? Or no, he's cool. He's the astronaut guy. My bad. I was thinking of someone else. I was thinking of like that one televangelist dude whose last name is also Kelly. Might be Scott Kelly, who I was thinking of earlier. Okay. Yeah, no, this guy's cool. He's like an astronaut, ex-Navy, all that. Yeah, dope as hell. He could be a good pick, but the fact that that Andy Bashir's from a red state, and on top of that is so popular, man, it could make Kentucky go blue. We could get Blue Tucky, dude. That would go crazy. He's had some cringe, but he's both a veteran and an astronaut. Okay, pretty solid. Pretty solid. Pretty hard to shit talk a veteran astronaut, right? Veteran dash astronaut, you know? Is Kentucky a valuable state? It's a red state that we could take away from the right. And he's popular, so that could lead to other states swinging blue as well, right? He's a liked Southern governor, so it could really it could have a big effect on the outcome of the election. Hard to say. Mark Kelly is popular in a swing state. Yeah, he could be a good pick too. I'm excited to see who gets announced as VP. You guys better believe I'll be not the first, but one of the first to be covering it and talking about it. I'm excited to see, because right now I'm leaning somewhere between Buttigieg and Andy Bashir. Buttigieg would just be cool from a political, like, policy perspective, while Bashir would probably be best from a, strategy perspective, considering his popularity and being from the South. But who knows? Who knows what they'll go for? We'll have to find out. Anyway, if you enjoyed the segment, consider dropping a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, comment down below. All these things help the channel a ton, no matter when, where, or what you're watching. And of course, consider following all my social medias, linked down below in the description, including joining my fan Discord. It's totally free. And I also announce all my new uploads, streams, and host events there as well, including watch parties and gaming events. So if you don't want to miss anything, make sure you hop right on in. And of course, consider following my social medias and donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website if you haven't already. And you can also support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch if you haven't already and you can afford it. But regardless of how you support me, even if you're just watching and lurking, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. And, yeah, hope to see you again soon. How'd you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out pretty good. We are caught up on the race for VP, it seems. I'll have to keep you guys updated. Okay. Have you seen the Moist Critical versus Sneeko debate? I haven't, but I will be covering that probably tomorrow. Alrighty. Okay. Why in the fuck does anyone watch Sneeko? I don't know. He's just stupid, and stupid people are attracted to stupid. What can I say? Simple as that. Oh. Okay, everyone. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Well, guys, are you excited to hear a hilarious headline? Trump supporters want him to debate Kamala Harris. They told me why. Something that is not going to happen, and they will not have indulged. Because Trump is afraid of Kamala Harris. She has a history in railing the shit out of felons in front of a group of people, an audience, and making them embarrassed and afraid. That's kind of what her job was before she did what she does now. So, as you can imagine, Trump is not exactly excited to hop in the arena with her. Trump supporters are certain that Harris would be embarrassed in a debate if only he had their confidence. It is really funny to me that Trump supporters are so deluded about what Donald Trump can do and how cool he is and how capable he is, that even though he is visibly terrified to debate Kamala Harris, his fans are still like, "Come on, Trump, debate her. Debate her, you'll win." And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah, I totally would, but I'm not gonna do it anyway. But I totally would.
You know? Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Should former President Donald Trump debate Vice President Kamala Harris, now that she's the presumptive Democratic nominee for president? That is the question that I asked Trump fans as they rallied for him Wednesday in Harrisburg, capital of swing state Pennsylvania. Everyone I spoke to wanted to see Trump take on Harris. They were certain he'd come out a winner, even as they echoed his everlasting claims of unfair treatment. Trump, who committed in May to a September 10th debate hosted by ABC News, now won't say if he'll show up. That was planned as a debate with President Joe Biden, who dropped his bid for a second term 12 days ago and endorsed Harris. Trump is now complaining about the host network, claiming that ABC News won't be fair to him. He ratcheted that up Wednesday, again attacking the network while speaking in racist terms about Harris during an appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists convention. Dude, I love how much the right and Trump's campaign are failing at attacking Kamala for anything that isn't her race. You know what I mean? Every time they hyper-focus on her race, I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot, because a big line they need to follow here is that they are not racist if they want to win this election. And they're failing at it. They're failing hard. They're doing the same thing they did to Obama, where they just absolutely nuke themselves in melting down over the person that their guy's running against being brown, you know? Xander Hall, did you see the whole Black journalist interview? It was so fucking bad. Can you link that, War Penguin? Is this the one that you're talking about? The one that they linked to here? Hi, USA Today. Thank you for sucking. Is this what you're talking about? Yeah, I don't think Trump's gonna agree to doing the debate. Yeah, this is it? Okay.
Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country.
Dude, can we just keep repeating questions like this at Trump so he's like forced to awkwardly say he loves the black population of this country every time? And it's just like every time he's asked to talk about this, he just ends up flubbing. Are you racist? Dude can't even say, no, I am not racist without sounding racist.
I've done so much for the black population of this country.
Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Here it is, guys. Here it is. Are you ready for Trump to receive This is the second time Trump has been shot, in the last month, only he's doing it to himself, into his foot this time. He's shooting himself in the foot here. I knew her for so long, and she was always Indian, of Indian heritage. What?
And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until
She's mixed. What are you talking about? Isn't her, doesn't she have one parent who's Indian and one parent who's black? That's called being mixed, dog. You can be both.
A number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
Oh, man. Dude. I didn't know how hard he bombed this, man.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
Jesus Christ! Oh my god! He just fucking nuked himself. Jesus Christ. How do you fuck that up so bad? I literally didn't think he could top.
I love my black supporters. I love my black people. They're so great. I am not a racist.
He said something along those lines, I love my black people, I think he said at one point. And, I thought he couldn't get worse or more cringe than that, and he just topped it. He just topped the fuck out of it. Phenomenal. The Trump supporters I spoke to Wednesday predicted that Harris will perform better than Biden, who had a calamitous debate performance against Trump in June that helped contribute to his decision to leave the race. But again, they leaned into Trump's ill-defined grievances about unfair treatment to predict more of the same. Those supporters were also mostly behind Trump's decision to pick the U.S. Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate, despite the rocky rollout for the Ohio Republican with a long and truly weird history of suggesting that people with no children should have less political power in America. I came away suspecting those voters will back Vance unless Trump changes his mind. Then they drop him like a hot rock. Trump supporters are enthusiastic about how he would do against Harris. Joshua Hoke, 43, of Palmyra, echoed Trump's complaints about that the debate should instead be with Fox News, where right-wing hosts have shown the former one-termer a decade of deference.
I think Trump should be able to debate
I think Trump should be able to debate Kamala Harris on his own, or on his terms this time, because last time it was based on their terms, Hoke said of Trump's debate with Biden on June 27th, hosted by CNN. They were pretty fair for the debate, for the most part, but I feel some of the questions were a direct attack towards him. Dean Lake, 31, of Red Lion, said of a Trump-Harris debate could create more upheaval with the Democratic Party, so he's in favor of that. Because he's going to own her in a debate, just like Biden did. Just like he did Biden, Lake said. And then after he owns her, maybe she'll jump out of the race also. These people are delusional, dude. Holy fucking shit. Who are, these are 68-year-olds, 31-year-olds, 43-year-olds talking about politics like they had the conception of a 5-year-old. What the hell? Is this another instance of, a black-pilling realization of the political knowledge of the average American citizen? Jesus Christ. Yeah, he'll own her, guys. That came from the mouth of a 60-year-old, by the way. What are they smoking? Something fun. That's for sure. Something that really disassociates you with reality. My God.
This discussion
Donald Trump takes questions from NABJ interviews. This is the whole thing that clip came from. Were there any other juicy moments from that?
Continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president, and the impact of those policies, especially in black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election.
I like this this event. It seems pretty solid. It seems like a pretty well put together event. Why'd they invite Trump? I mean, I guess they probably set it up as kind of a trap because they knew Trump would say something racist and it would be really bad. But I don't know. It's like it's just such a well put together event, and everyone is taking themselves and everything else so seriously. And then you bring in Trump, who is just a walking meme, and it just Trump feels so out of place. You know what I mean?
NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Luckily for Trump, none of his fans are going to check and fact check anything he says. They will just believe it on its face. Dude, what the fuck? How are people not giving Trump more shit for his age? Do you see how he hobbled out on stage at 2 times speed there? This is literally 2 times speed. And Trump hobbled out on stage looking like worse than Biden, maybe? I would say. I feel like Trump might actually come off. I think Trump is going to. I don't think Trump outlives Biden despite being younger. That is my bet. I think Biden's athletic lifestyle carries him to a longer, healthier life than Trump. Trump is so unhealthy and he's so old, but Biden is so healthy but so old. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I actually think that Trump will die of like old age, some coronary heart failure or something before Biden does. Biden's so healthy. Like he seems like he's always been healthy too, like a life of exercise.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like...
What is the racial makeup of the audience here, like the crowd? Because I hear a few laughs and claps when Trump talks, and that would be unexpected from a mostly non-white crowd. So I'm curious if this is like an audience of mostly white Trump supporters, mostly. Like if it's a Trump speaking event, you would think it would be, right? I don't feel like Trump would like choose to go to an event where he's going to speak in front of a mostly black audience, and he could very easily just nuke himself, as he does.
Animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking...
Several white supremacists. Just the one he had dinner with was Nick Fuentes, by the way.
Black supporters to vote for you. Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible...
This is the clip, and it came from the start of this conversation, so I'm really wondering now how the rest of it goes, if the first moments are such an amazing clip.
And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money.
This is supposed to last an hour, by the way. As you can see, it does not. Oh, that's a clue as to how this went.
And I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you said you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and
Wait, Trump has literally said he refuses to debate her until she is elected through a primary, right? Why is Trump playing up the I wanted her to be here, I wanted to debate her angle when he's literally denied any request to debate until she is quote unquote elected. Like, what? You can't take this angle when you've turned down a debate with her already.
She's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
I would love
think
you
it's
to
a
answer the
very
question on
nasty
your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe
answered the
that black voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have been
years.
the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the Voting Rights
answer.
Act?
For you to start off a question and answer period.
No, he hasn't. I'll give devil's advocate here. One thing that Trump did that was actually pretty based and by extent probably did help a lot of incarcerated, like falsely incarcerated black people was a bill he passed apparently back in like 2017 or 18. He passed a bill that expedited the release of certain low-level drug offenders on federal charges. And that was actually pretty based, and it led to a pretty positive uptick in support for Trump and approval rating among incarcerated people, though they're felons, so they don't really get to vote anyway. It doesn't matter much. But regardless, it did have some effect on Trump's favorability among black Americans, but he's done so little so little good compared to how much bad he's done that I really don't feel he can come close to making a claim like that. That's genuinely hilarious.
Especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner. I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
DEI is a legal term that comes from like colleges and legal practices that refers to like isn't it like hold on. We'll actually read the real definition of DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion are organizational frameworks which seek to promote the fair treatment and full participation of all people, particularly groups who have historically seen unrepresented or subject to discrimination on the basis of identity or disability. These three notions, diversity, equity, and inclusion, together represent three closely linked values which organizations seek to institutionalize through DEI frameworks. The concepts predate this terminology, and other variations include diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, or DEIB, inclusion and diversity. Like, this is literally just a legal term that comes from, like, organizations, schools, bullshit like that. It's literally a term that has been buried and meant nothing until the right discovered it, realized it's a combination of buzzwords that make right-wingers sweat, and then decided to turn it into a boogeyman word, okay? It's like, DEI has no real effect on your life. It's just not like a real thing. It's a word that no one's going to remember, just like SJW in 6 years.
No, you have to define it. Define it for me if you
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no, I think...
And to be clear, when these right-wingers say DEI, what they mean is the N-word. They mean the N-word, and they mean it with the hard R.
It's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman.
I respect either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question.
Dude, even on rewatch, that shit is, ooh.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black.
So I'm guessing what he's going to say is he wants to stop the flood of immigrants that are coming into America. They are voting Democrat. They are doing crime. They're taking our jobs. They're bringing a lot of bad things with them, like drugs and yada, yada, yada. Even though the majority of, say, fentanyl, for example, I believe comes in, like, is manufactured. No, isn't, like, fentanyl not from, like, outside of the country? Isn't it manufactured here, if I'm not mistaken? And, like, fentanyl's the big thing that they're freaking out about. Where's the majority of the fentanyl coming from? Where is fentanyl coming into the U.S.? Okay, no, it is smuggled through Mexico. Distributed across and sold in legal drug market. Monitored for potential misuse or abuse. Wait, but most of the illicit fentanyl is prescribed in America. It's not smuggled in via Mexico, though. Ah. So the majority of fentanyl that is smuggled in is from south of the border, but the majority of fentanyl is not being smuggled in south of the border. So it's like it is a problem, but it's not at the same time. Okay, they've found something that on the surface looks like, oh yeah, fentanyl's killing tons of Americans and it's coming from Mexico, when in reality they're prescription pills that are coming from pharmacies, I guess. So yeah.
I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black?
Oh no! Did he just say non-college educated and non-high school diploma jobs are black jobs? Is that what he just said? Because the jobs that immigrants take are those that are the non-high school diploma jobs. He just referred to non-high school graduate jobs as black jobs. Oh no! Oh brother, this guy stinks. He's a stinky, stinky boy.
Black job, sir.
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And they're taking the.
Oh, he caught himself there. He caught himself there because the jobs that immigrants south of the border take are non-college or non-high school educated jobs. They're like the low-skilled labor, quote unquote. Ooh, he got himself there. Oof.
Employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much.
Okay, no, let's look at the actual data. How many asylum seekers and immigrants come from south of the border? In past year, 2.4 million per. Okay, so we are not talking tens of millions unless we're talking on like nearly a decade-long scale. It is like less than 3 million a year. Okay, just thought we'd fact check that.
Much more than that, and everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that, and Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border.
Dude, the border czar point, I feel like that's not catching on at all.
So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And
this has been literally the best administration for unions ever. The unions are saying as much, and Republicans are not pro-union. Why would he say this?
As we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President,
this is just not real.
I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
Sure.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me.
he is not doing well.
I hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation
No one is agreeing.
absolutely destroying.
I don't know if it's just like the TV perspective. You can hear everyone fine, but they seem to be microphones, like with speakers, and it seems like everyone in the crowd can hear her just fine. No one seems to be going along with Donald here. Like, what? Is this, maybe his hearing is going. What the fuck? Are his ears like going? Is he actually getting so old he's losing his hearing? That could be happening. That's actually realistic. He's old. Like, Trump is not that much younger than Biden.
Our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had.
Our inflation rate is dropping at a ridiculous speed at this point. The economic growth we've seen under Biden has been unprecedented. The only thing that Republicans have to go off of is that prices are still high because we haven't seen price bounce back from the inflation. There's no deflation. Like, the US dollar isn't going to go back to being worth more. Like, in the sense that, like, there's less printed money out there, right? Like, that's not what's going to happen. What's probably going to happen is as people start opting to buy cheaper, like, non-name brand versions of products, we're going to see, like, across the board name brands of different products starting to lower their prices. We've seen this happen with a lot of fast food recently. Notably, McDonald's is dropping their price like every few months by about 10 to 30 cents because people are buying less fast food. They're buying less McDonald's, and it's getting to the point where their hiked prices are becoming a harm to their bottom line, and they're having to equalize and make their fast food cheaper so people start buying it again. And that is how the economy and prices recover after a long stint of inflation. That's like one of the biggest things that has an impact. There can be policy decisions made to cap prices on certain products like food, but regardless, like, the American people aren't going to be happy until they see prices across the board drop, and that takes time. So worst case scenario is Trump wins this election and inherits a healing economy from 4 years of Kamala and Biden.
And they say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have...
Dude, wait, interest rates were super high under Trump, weren't they? Was that not a thing? Hold on. Home interest rates by year USA. Oh, look at that. Interest rates rise during COVID, and now they are dropping. Interest rates have gone up a lot on housing since 2022, which is like Biden was in office, but this is also during the economic crash of COVID. It's leveling out. I really fucking fear a reality where Donald Trump gets to inherit this, and as, like, Biden's policies heal the economy, he gets to take credit. Because that's what he did for his first term. He took credit for 8 years of Obama's economic policy. It's how Republicans are always able to brag about a good economy. It takes a while for the economy to bounce back. The market has to respond. And the market can either respond instantly or it can take years to recover. And then a president can just later on claim that the good numbers coming out of the market now are a reflection of their policies, when in reality it's a reflection of policies that have been built up over the course of like 8 years.
The American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's...
Dude, no. The people, no one is losing out on housing because of the inflation rates, okay? If people are not homeless because they can't afford to buy houses. People are homeless because rental rates are, like, the rental prices are also too high. If Trump really wants to fucking, like, get on the side of the working class here, he needs to start talking about rent prices, because most of Gen Z in particular rents. Like, home ownership is so far out of the picture right now that being able to pay rent is what so many Americans right now are concerned about. That's what's currently on the table. I imagine that the inflation rate for home ownership is definitely playing a part in that, because landlords have to account that for their rental prices to an extent. But like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of voters are more concerned about rent right now, more so than more so than mortgage inflation, you know, like the interest rate on their mortgages.
Destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community.
If you already own a house, you're already voting Trump, right? But if you're renting and struggling to make rent, you're probably not voting Trump unless he can convince you to, right?
Probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might.
Is he going to try to claim that Joe Biden's climate change policy is bad? I bet that's what he's going to try to claim.
He was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going. And
his poll numbers were like practically unaffected by the debate, if I remember correctly. Like, I think he saw like less than a point drop in most states. But his polling was always bad, you know, like ever since like ever since like the last election, his polling has been bad. I don't think the debate played a big part, if I recall correctly. It just solidified how bad his polling was.
maybe something happens the other way. They said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him. And now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient.
Trump, your biggest backer right now is Elon Musk, the electric car guy. What are you doing?
Efficient heating, environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and
all they have is inflation, 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 inflation. I really think that's the only non-race-based point that the Republicans are going to have against Kamala in the election here is just like consistently bringing up inflation.
And every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58, whatever it may be. They don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too.
They'll fact check it, and they'll say I'm wrong. And it's actually that they're wrong. You can look into it yourself, but I don't know. Okay, Trump.
But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr. President, can I ask you another question that is also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sadia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water?
Donald Trump has said that police would have immunity in situations like this, so he's going to try to argue, well, in this case, I wouldn't agree with it, but he still believes, or argued, that one of his policies should be that, by default, this cop would have immunity, and he would not be getting charged with murder.
Right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again,
are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little
non-answer? Yeah, I mean, like, Trump fucking embarrasses himself here. It's really funny. I don't know. I feel like Donald Trump is going to continue to just flub this this race. I feel like J.D. Vance is also kind of dragging his campaign down. And I think Donald Trump is setting himself up for a pretty catastrophic loss. Shark said that Trump is stronger than he's ever been. And there are definitely polling and popular vote suggestions that would say that's the case. But at the same time, Donald Trump has backed policies that are more unpopular than ever. So I don't know if that will end up being the case when we see the actual results of the election. I'm really curious to see. Will Trump have more votes than ever this election or less? or somewhere between 2020 and 2016. If he has more votes than ever, then that would suggest that, like, his Supreme Court picks being behind the axing of Roe v. Wade and all these other really unpopular, like, anti-IVF and reproductive rights policies are actually mobilizing Republicans into supporting him more. And that is a terrifying idea. Yeah, Trump's definitely weaker than he's ever been. I think he'd be weaker, or at least close to as weak as the weakest he's ever been, but some would suggest that, including Shark, that he's the strongest, and the polling backs up that he's the strongest. So I'm curious to see if this election's results will also show that, and if the polling is actually accurate. I'm really, really curious to see, because I want to measure them up to each other. You think Trump might not even get 60 million votes? That would surprise me if he flubbed it that hard, but we'll see. We shall see. Regardless, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like, regardless of when, where, or what you're watching. Subscribe, ring the bell icon, comment down below. It boosts the channel a ton in the algorithm and helps a lot, so I really do appreciate it if you guys do that. And of course, consider supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, and buying merch if you want to support me financially. And consider following all my social medias down below in the description as well, and joining my fan Discord, where I host events and announce all my new uploads and streams. So yeah, consider supporting me. It really does really help a lot. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, even if you're just lurking, and have a good one. You know what you and Trump have in common? Berating and financially abusing employees. You're fired, Zan. Ooh. Damn, I love that we're getting a repeat of the Keffels drama, where Cherry was very smart to nuke all of their messages to me, because there's some stuff in there that would destroy them, to say the least. But what they couldn't nuke was the fact that there are years of transactions from me paying them. So I've already posted those in my Discord, and everybody knows that Cherry's a liar in that respect, if they're actually using their brain cells. So enjoy your ban. I will say I really love how much of a bubble the people who've been going after me with the drama around this are in. Like, I really expected it to be, like, more serious and more damning of, like, a response, but no one cares. Like, it's astonishing how little anyone cares at this point. Like, 5 days later, no one gives a fuck, because it really is a nothing burger. And the only, like, damning accusation is a blatant lie that Cherry couldn't nuke the evidence of. As a transgender woman that know what it is to be homeless, I know exactly how important it is to be involved in this election. Yeah, I feel like most of the people who cared about this kind of thing left during the Keffels drama, so there's such a limit on the effect that these people can have on me anymore. It's kind of nice. Feels like, I don't know, freeing. You know, like having cinder blocks untied from your ankles, you know? Anyway, I think here is where I'm going to wrap up stream, because A, I really have to pee, and B, we've got an Avatar The Last Airbender watch party to do, my lovely, lovely chatters. Cherry chose a weird thing to lie about. I mean, I'm happy to see it's so easy to disprove, but this whole situation has been odd. Yeah, well, one thing you should probably know is that Cherry had an obsession with burning people and, like, talked about YouTube politics and, like, the space of YouTube like it was Breaking Bad. Cherry loved to do, like, that LARPing shit where it was like, yeah, White Nervosa's like Mike from Breaking Bad. She's our fixer. It's like, what are you talking about, dog? What do you think this is? Some kind of fucking crime ring? We're making YouTube videos. And so Cherry has this, like, conception of themselves as, like, some kind of, like, ruthless, like, Breaking Bad or Barry character. And so I think what they were trying to do is some kind of backstab akin to, like, a crime drama, but because they're a fucking YouTube editor lying about a YouTuber, it just looks embarrassing as fuck. But Cherry always loved to say, like, oh, we should pull a Fuchs on this YouTuber and turn against them. It's like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? This is LARP. I'll tell more of these stories in the future that'll embarrass the shit out of Cherry, because Cherry tried to embarrass the shit out of me. But holy fuck, dude, do I have some funny fucking stories about Cherry if Cherry wants to play that dirty. Oh, man. Holy shit. I can bring Ethan on to tell his stories about Cherry. If they want to play that dirty, we can play that dirty. But I'm not looking to. I feel I'd much rather just be focused on my own content, making the channel grow and improving my content, and giving you guys the attention you deserve. Did you draw yourself? Did she draw herself as the Chad and you as the Soy Wojak? Pretty much. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you all appreciate the stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I appreciate you all for coming and watching. Oh, yeah, I really appreciate you guys for coming. Anyway, guys, please consider joining the Progressive Victory Amplify Discord server. That is the perfect route through which you can come and watch our Avatar: The Last Airbender watch party. As a matter of fact, yo. I'm actually talking to the mods in the PV Amplify Discord right now to start getting the watch party ready. And I am going to scroll up and grab... When was the previous announcement? Here we go. Nice. All right. Yoink. Yoink. One second, chat. I'm just setting up the announcement for the watch party. Alrighty. And then for everybody who wants the link to the Discord server so they can join the Avatar: The Last Airbender watch party, because we will be continuing the absolute keynote that has been Season 3 of Avatar. Here is the link through which to join. I just posted it in both chats. You're going to want to hop into, I believe, the theater chat room, and that is the one where we'll be hosting the watch party. So start flooding in there, guys. Hop right on in. We are midway, or are about to get midway through. We're watching, like, the mid-chunk of Season 3. This is apparently the best season, so we're apparently about to be eating good, guys. Let me message Balth really fast as well. Alrighty. Let me hop in the Discord VC real fast. Main stage. Excellent. Alrighty. Everything should be getting set up now. Let me post an announcement in my Discord. Alright, everyone, we're doing a new Avatar: The Last Airbender watch party in the Progressive Victory Amplify Discord server at 6:45 p.m. PST in 10 minutes. Join and be there, or... And then I need to attach the image of... Iroh. Where he looks fucking awesome. Is this the image? No, not that one. Where's the image? Fuck. Let me copy it from here. I have been invited to speak! Excellent. Woo! Let's go! I am posting the announcement in my Discord server right now for everybody to get like that 10-minute that 10-minute first call. And I'm gonna do server right now. There we go. Now I've got my announcement for when we start it ready for my Discord server, and everybody should be flooding in now. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up stream. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you all in the watch party, and have a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow, so be there or be square. Doo-doo fart.
you